Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Aches, Pains, and Gains. I'm your co-host, Danny Hines, and your main host is over there.
I think we're both co-hosts, so it can't be.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like it's
Oh shit!
it's like an equal.
That's
it's an
okay.
Equal division. But my name's Thomas Johnston. I'm also one of the co-hosts of Aches, Pains, and Gains. And today we're joined by another co-host. She's back again. We got Kelsey Goodmanson. Kelsey, how you doing?
I'm doing amazing. How are you guys?
I'm all right. I can't complain.
I'm doing all right.
Woo!
That was Danny's first intro to the podcast. I thought he did pretty good.
Phenomenal.
I fucked it up. I won't lie to you.
I don't think you did.
Yeah.
Hey, you know
Smooth.
what? It's a learning learning moment.
True.
We can develop. We can grow. Right? We're not good at everything all the time.
Dude.
Good lesson.
Yep.
Okay, anyway, so today's episode, what are we going to be going through? Kelsey, why don't you tell us what we're going to be talking about today?
Yeah. We're gonna go over Westerns. The Westerns recap, which is what are we now? Like 6 weeks post Westerns, I believe.
Yeah, we meant to record this a little sooner, but you know,
Only 6 weeks.
I
Has
think
it been
so.
that much?
Yeah.
life
It
happens.
might even be more. That's
life
crazy.
gets in the way. So
Yeah.
it was March. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Early March.
But yeah, we're gonna be going over Westerns, some memorable moments about coaching, competing, the process going into what we're kind of doing now. You know, the whole experience of competing at a championships that was
Yeah.
relatively large in size.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
just before we get into all that, though, folks, please, if you've been enjoying these episodes, like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. Follow us on Spotify. I believe you can ask questions in the Spotify description as well. Put us up on your stories. The more ears we can get this podcast into, we think the better. And it helps us out a great deal. We don't make any money off this. We just want to help people out that, that participate in activities that cause aches, pains, and or gains, you know? So
Mhm.
it's kind of our status quo over
Yep.
here. You're going to say something there, Danny? Or are you...
No, I was just gonna mention that the Westerns is the first time, a first big major competition where actually athletes had competitors.
Yeah, like a lot of
You
our
know?
athletes
But
have never...
we'll get into that. We'll
Yeah.
get into that.
All right, fair
once
enough.
We get into it.
Well, why don't we just start with our old-fashioned aches, pains, and gains? Let's start with Kelsey. Tell me about your aches, pains, and gains there, Kelsey.
Gains have been coming along. Things are feeling good in the gym. Squats are moving. Thank God. We'll get into that, but my confidence after Westerns with squats was a little tarnished, if you will. But no, bench is feeling really good. Deadlift's feeling pretty solid. It's honestly probably the first time in a while that everything's felt good at the same time. So I'm just going to ride that wave as long as we can.
Why don't you tell everybody how much you pulled off of the fucking
Oh, the big blocks.
off the big blocks?
215, 474.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Off
she
of,
just
sucked
six-
around
She
a little
just
bit.
tags me on a story.
Off
She goes,
6 inch.
She goes, I swear it was in the program.
Yeah.
Don't tell my coach.
How
And I
high was
looked.
the block pull? 6 inches or?
It was the
Yeah.
it was
I think it was.
Whatever the
those
big blocks are.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know
With the
about
how
handles
six.
on them.
I think. Yeah, that'd be about the ones people use as tripods
Yeah.
at the gym.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think those are about 6 inches.
Well, my initial plan was to go 500. So I was like, fuck it. This is going to go.
I've been-
And I
Oh
did.
my god.
I did 170, 200 just for Western's redemption, and
Yep.
that flew. And then I was like, okay, 215. It felt heavy as fuck. And I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, okay, no, we're going to save 500.
Well, it
But
shows me that grip's no issue.
grip's no issue.
Not at all.
No,
And I don't think you need to fucking worry about hook grip right now.
I don't think
If
so.
you can hold on to 475 when you're only deadlifting like 440 right now,
Yeah.
you'll be okay.
No, my mix feels solid, and I'm trying to actually get it lower in my hands
Yeah.
too, versus like a full palm grip, which
Yeah,
feels
yeah.
much better actually.
I've been doing something very similar actually lately, but I mean, if that's everything though, we can jump over to Danny next, I think.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. So we're just kind of finishing up the post-meet kind of low stress week. I did a few weeks of like high volume, quote unquote, hypertrophy
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and now we're kind of getting back into the swing of things of like more traditional lower rep work. But I've recently started with a new coach,
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Kurt Cornelson. I don't know if you saw who was handling me at
That was
Westerns.
the guy that was handling you at Westerns.
That was my
yeah.
boy. I have never like jived with somebody so well after meeting for the first, like we met
Now
multiple
you're just
times.
hurting my feelings.
No, Thomas, that's not what I
There's
mean.
no way. There's no way he
Oh.
jived more with you than Lips of an Angel with you and I together.
Oh.
No. That's not what I mean.
I'm gonna have to talk to this Kurt. What's his last name again?
Kurt Cornelson.
I'm just kidding.
What
Who does he coach with? Or is he solo?
He's Cornerstone Barbell.
Oh,
from
okay.
Manitoba.
Okay.
Yeah,
Manitoba.
from
Okay.
Manitoba. Yeah, we chatted a bit at the previous Westerns, and we like clicked really, like we like hit it off really well.
Mhm.
And we would like message each other back and forth every like now and then on Instagram and stuff. And going into Westerns, I was like, I'm gonna need a handler because you're not gonna want to do it because it's Saturday night, the day before you.
Yeah, no, I was not gonna
lifting.
handle you the day before,
And you were also
and I was
dying.
dead sick.
Yeah.
Oh,
we'll get into
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
but
and I know that he's really involved in the sport and like he has a really good track record of like his athletes doing really well and he's the coach. So I thought I just messaged out and be like, hey man, like how would you feel about like handling me? And he was like super pumped. He was like, yo man, it'd be an honor, all this and that. I was like, it'll be good. It'll be awesome. And yeah, we did so good. It was really good. So after Westerns, I did my own thing for a little bit there,
Mhm.
but kind of felt that again. I wanted to be the athlete again and just have the blinders on and go. And I thought no better person than him.
yeah, reach out.
Nice.
So he's very, very much involved in the or I guess he bases his coaching off of like RTS,
Oh yeah,
that like
yeah.
emerging strategy style. So very much stuff I like.
Yep.
That I can get behind and that I can do. So yeah, that's kind of what we've been doing, and we just finished our first week together,
Nice.
and
Exciting.
it's good. Yeah, started off with a 250 triple at pretty easy effort, 7 RPE for
Yep.
squat, bench. My shoulder actually now that I got some
Pains.
aches and
Ooh.
pains. I don't know if it was because I spent like time not squatting,
Mhm.
that when I got into the rack position, the back of my rear delt area shoulder
Mm.
was not nice.
Happy.
It was uncomfortable. And then going into bench, it was like 5 out of 10
wow.
uncomfortable. Yeah.
Wow.
Enough to like
Affect the bench press.
affect the bench
Yeah,
press.
yeah.
But just today I was squatting again and it was okay.
Yeah.
So
Just one of those things. Sometimes things just feel weird.
I think so.
Give it another go the next week or the next session, and
I
it's like,
think
oh,
so.
I think it's gone.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
But yeah, we're cruising.
Now, as a coach yourself, when you sign up with a new coach,
Mhm.
what do you think you wish someone knew, and when entering into that relationship, right? Because like we were talking about just before the podcast started off air, like before we started recording and everything, we were saying that programming is part of coaching, but it's not the end all be all of coaching,
That's
and
right.
it's only one like tenant, one column, one component.
Well, from what our interactions were at Westerns, like face to face,
Yeah, in a very emotional, high stress environment.
in a very emotional, high stress environment, we were like, he is like, the communication is like second to none. Like it is. I've worked with a lot of coaches, but working with him, I can't explain. It was the best like in person
Connected.
day-to-day coach or game day
day.
coaching that I've ever had.
Yeah.
So it was good.
Good sign.
It was
Being
really
a good game day coach
Yeah.
like usually requires like a lot of emotional intelligence too,
very much so.
because you kind of have to. You usually have to have a conversation with the athlete and kind of see what they want on the day,
yeah,
and then also you need to be able to read what they need from you, because some athletes
Well,
need you to be the hype man.
and that's the thing is, he asked me right away is like, how do you want your coach to be? Do you want the hype man or do you want the cool, calm, and collected dean figure?
yeah.
Or like a combination of, and the thing with Kurt is he knows powerlifting so well in terms of like the attempt selection
Yep.
and the little intricacies of attempt selection, like putting in a placeholder and then making, like, we'll get into it when I talk about my experience with
Sure, yeah.
Westerns.
Yep.
But extremely knowledgeable, and I am super pumped to work with him. So
Nice, man.
Nice.
yeah.
Well, I'll go with my aches, pains, and gains lately. Things have been going pretty good. I've been experimenting a little bit with a super wide stance on the squat.
Hell yeah, dude.
Danny style.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. In an effort to cut range of motion from my squat, because I always just absolutely sink it. Like
Yes.
I slam my hamstrings into my calves when I squat.
Yeah.
I've actually been doing some thinking on that too, with like the pain I've had in the past with my knees. Typically at about like 90 degrees or so, your patella and the patellar tendons kind of at the most like compression, the most tension.
Mhm.
And then when you go past that, you actually get less tension on that area. And then I was thinking that because I was experiencing so much pain right in that mid range of 90 degrees or so,
Yeah.
that I was actually just blowing past it in an effort not to spend more time in the painful area. And then I think over time, I just squatting deeper and deeper and deeper. And that just kind of became like the habit. But I've
Yeah.
been really enjoying like wide stance squatting. I've got a bit of like a high hamstring, like almost tendinopathy going on. Like it's kind of right. I have like a bit of a pain right where the sit bone is. You know
Yep.
what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I don't know what it is. I started biking for school and I'm back in the classroom. I'm sitting on my ass a lot more lately. So it could be a combination of all the
Yeah.
above. I know my back pain has flared back up ever since going back to school. So yeah, it's kind of funny how physio school seems to
From
be
all
my
that sitting around.
yeah. Because remember when we first started recording, I was talking about how physio school seems to be a trigger for that, and here we are again.
Yep.
Like I got a lot of data to say that going back to school is a contributor to my back pain. You know what I mean? Which
Yeah.
is kind of interesting. So it's only like 8 more weeks though, and then I'm done the classroom component forever.
Hell
And
yeah.
then I just finish off with my practicums in the fall, which is pretty exciting. So yeah,
Nice.
it'll be a busy summer for me. You know, getting married, my licensing exam, bachelor party, all that stuff. So anyway, yeah,
Hell
all in
yeah.
all, things are
Sweet.
going good, man. Pains are
Nice.
minimal, gains are on the rise.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying training a lot lately. I was feeling pretty cooked going into westerns, but that's kind of cooked meaning burnt out. You know, just another way. You know,
It's true.
yeah.
All right.
Cool. Yeah. Let's dive into the next new segment I want to add to the podcast. We're gonna test it out today. We're gonna call it Gym Jams. What are we listening to in the gym as of late? Who wants to go first?
Oh God.
Danny, you go first. I feel like you're ready for this.
Oh shit. I can explain. Okay.
Can you?
Yes. So I'm kind of weird how I listen to country music. Okay. I wouldn't say I'm like hillbilly, but like, you know, I listen to it all the time. I also listen to it during training.
Yep.
Okay. There's a new album that came out
Oh yeah.
called
Boot, scoot, and boogie.
banger. Do we know who Hardy is?
Hardy.
No.
Hardy.
No.
It's a newer
I'm
country
looking
singer.
it up right now.
Look
But
him
yeah,
up.
continue.
He does a it's
All caps?
yeah. He does a mixtape.
The Hicks tape?
The Hicks tape, exactly.
Volume 1?
Okay. Volume 1, 2, and 3. And volume 3 just came out like not long ago,
Yeah.
called the Diff tape.
Okay.
Do you know who Joe Diffie is?
No, I don't.
They did a mashup of all of his songs with like modern singers today and a few older singers. So like there's one called what the fuck is that song called? Find a New Way. And it's like Brooks and Dunn is in it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I can't think of his name. Hardy's in it. And then Luke Combs sings it.
Oh, yeah.
Those
yeah.
three sing it. My God, man, that whole album is banger after banger after banger. Every time I go to the gym, it's those same like 7 songs on repeat.
You just run those all time.
Oh my God, it's too good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
John, hold on. John Deere Green.
Good
Oh
song.
my God.
That's going to be like the anthem for the next.
So Danny's on Hardy. All right.
Yeah,
Do you have like a country workout playlist that you have?
No.
You just kind of find an album and
No.
loop it?
Sometimes it'll be like like these ones are fairly like upbeat and like they make me want to move. They make me
Yeah.
want to dance.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll listen to like Hank Williams Jr., Weatherman.
Oh, yeah.
And
Holy.
it's slow, sad. Oh my God. Sometimes you need it.
Sometimes you just want to
True.
feel the
Yeah.
emotions.
Yeah.
It's cathartic.
Yeah.
Fair. All right.
I
All
always
right, good.
think like if I can hit like a 550 triple to Weatherman by Hank Williams Jr., just a slow, sad toe tapping song, man, So
the
imagine what I
limit.
could do with Kickstart My Heart.
I think there's something to be said too about like having music that it's not like full send. I had just had a gram of caffeine. Like I'm
Low
sniffing
arousal,
ammonia.
Yeah.
low arousal stuff.
Yeah, it
100%.
makes the training more consistent.
Yep.
It introduces, I think, a little less noise into the you evaluating if the training was effective or not over a long period of time.
I also think it like sensitizes you to when it is go time. You get out your banger song.
Yep.
And you get that like hit of like I don't know.
A little extra something.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
100%.
Which is usually what I pull out when I'm close in prep too.
Fuck, you
Right?
pull out like some Viking.
Little Viking lately.
I don't know what it is.
I'll get there. I'll get there.
Yeah.
I want Kelsey to go next though. What are your gym jams lately?
Oh man, it's all over the
Man,
place.
we should make a playlist.
We should.
Between each episode.
Oh my
We
god.
could put a playlist together. We could have like whatever Kelsey's about to say.
Yeah.
You're friggin' hardy, and then
Yeah.
hey, go ahead,
Oh.
Kelsey. Sorry to interrupt.
Well, I think Danny and I differ a little bit.
Danny's
Yeah, I'm
weird.
not a huge country person. I do like some rock once in a while. I don't know. I honestly have kind of the same playlist that I just rotate through and add to over time. But a little bit of Pop Smoke. Eminem's always a classic.
Oh,
I don't even know who Pop Smoke is.
I think he's dead
Sad.
now, but
Oh, Rip.
it's all
R.I.P.
it's a little kind of harder. I don't know, hip hop type of genre.
What is the stuff you post on your story? And it's like British rap.
Oh yeah,
rap.
that's another.
What is
that's
it?
Another,
Drill rap?
That's
Drill
another
rap?
genre that has its time and place. Yeah.
Drill,
It's
drill,
kinda
drill
like-
rap goes pretty hard.
It
Are you
does.
saying drill?
Drill, DRILL. It's in reference to the type of beat that is behind the music,
Okay.
and it's very common, like commonly produced
Is it
in
like-
Britain.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. No, that's a whole other different lane.
UK drill rap is like a sub genre of
Dude,
it.
I've
yeah.
never heard of that. That's crazy.
We should swap headphones one day.
Oh my god. Yeah, sure. I'm out.
Okay.
I'm down.
I don't know. Some days, like I've got a little Ariana Grande in there.
Yo, Dangerous
I've been
Woman,
going-
Ariana Grande.
yes.
Yes,
100%.
Oh, that fires me up.
Gets you going.
Yeah,
I don't even know who that is. No, just
Oh,
kidding.
come on.
Ariana Grande.
I'm kidding.
No, I've been getting into some like Rob Thomas lately, a little bit of
Okay.
Nirvana. So honestly, yeah, a little bit of everything, some old, some new.
Yeah.
Nothing quite like what is it, Hardy?
Can I intervene?
No,
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
This is as of late. I listen to everything and like
That's what I said. As of late, what are you listening to in
yeah,
the gym?
okay. But like as of late it's been this Hardy trend, but like I listen to also everything. Like Nickelback.
That's it. Hey, yeah. Nice culture, man of
Moving
culture.
on. Thomas, what do you listen to?
Is that everything, Kelsey?
Yeah, pretty much. That sums it up.
So a little bit of everything. Do you have a playlist that you use? Or
I do, yeah. Like I have a PL Hype playlist. I have one actually that I have specifically for a meet day, which is a little bit of a condensed version of my gym
Right?
playlist.
Yeah. The meet
But,
day playlist.
Yeah. No, they're all pretty much along the same lines. Like I like kind of higher tempo. Once in a while, throw some slow in.
What
But
song were you listening to before your third deadlift at Westerns?
I don't even know if I had my headphones in.
You probably fucking
I
blacked
don't.
out.
I don't think I. Honestly, I mean, we'll get to that, but yeah, I don't think I had my headphones in at all during deadlifts. I
Holy
think I was
smokes.
just like spazzing out, pacing around the back, watching the screen.
just geeking out back
I was
there.
tweaking.
Oh god. All right.
That was interesting that you just didn't listen to anything. Yeah. Anyway, what am I listening to lately? I'm kind of unique this way. I go through different phases, but lately I've been on the cinematic battle music kick.
That's what I'm saying.
And it
it's
has
just
got me-
crazy.
Absolutely fired up. I was listening to the Transformers soundtrack in the gym the other day. Oh my goodness, dude! Does that ever get me fired up? Like it was, like the Shia LaBeouf, Megan Fox
Mhm.
one, like the 2000 and what year was that?
This is the first
2007
one. The first
or something
one.
like that.
The first
Yeah.
one, right?
Oh my goodness, dude!
And
Like
it's like Linkin Park, and they're just closing off.
the Linkin Park's great too. Linkin Park's great in any gym setting.
Yeah.
But it's like the da 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 da. You know what I'm talking about,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude!
When
I was.
You have the fucking convoy driving down the highway.
Yes,
yeah,
dude,
I know.
that's-
yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Oh, I think it's called like The Arrival or something like that from the actual soundtrack itself. But I do have a playlist. I'm just gonna look up the title because I think it's actually public on Spotify. So if you're not on Spotify, that sucks. You can't listen to it.
Prime's
It's
like-
called Battle Music, and then I have like the sword emoji and then the axe emoji.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh my
that's
God.
that's what I've been
Shit.
listening to lately, and I don't know, something about it. It just has been getting me going for the lifts, and some of them are a little more like laid back too. But even like I'll listen to some more uplifting kind of soundtrack type music, like How to Train Your Dragon, for example. That one,
my
that one
God.
just I love that movie,
Is that
man.
a children's show?
It's not a children's show.
Okay.
They're movies.
Oh, sorry.
And they're amazing. You know what, Kelsey? If you don't watch How to Train Your Dragon 1, 2, and 3, you can't come back on this
Deal.
podcast.
I think
Have you seen them?
I've seen one.
Oh.
They're good.
I've seen one where
good.
the village is like under attack, and they're like doing shit.
In the first episode,
episode
or sorry, the first movie.
The first movie,
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
under attack right at the start.
and then the like king or whatever is like talking shit about
Chief.
his son or something.
Yes.
The chief,
Yeah.
the king,
Yeah.
the chief. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
all I remember.
Yeah,
And then he goes to like this cave area and sees
the dragon.
what is it, Toothless?
Yeah, Toothless, the Night Fury. Yeah,
Yeah.
man, that I love those movies. That's when I used to like mess around with like accents and stuff. Like How to Train Your Dragons, like how I started like putting together like a Scottish accent.
Give us a Scottish accent
Yeah.
right now.
How to Train Your Dragon.
Shut up, dude.
Oh no.
I thought about doing an Aches, Pains, and Gains intro and just going right into a Scottish accent
Oh
without
my
like
God.
prefacing it. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll do that one of these days. If we did an April Fool's episode, that would have been good.
Damn.
Oh.
But yeah, that's what I've been listening to lately. Honestly, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. I enjoy it. Yeah.
Right on.
Sweet.
What was I listening to right before I had my third deadlift?
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, hold on. Yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But like, I turn the corner because like I'm coaching Jake,
Yeah. So you're busy. Yeah.
but I walk over because I want to see your guys' last lifts, and I see a look in your eyes that I haven't seen
Yeah.
in forever, and you were just like locked in,
Frothing.
staring into the void.
Yep.
Before your lift, your
Yep.
eyes looked even watery. I won't lie.
It was an emotional experience,
and
man.
you were just like blinders on, ready to put in the work, and you did.
Yep. I
But
could.
what?
Well,
were
I
you
missed
listening?
it.
Yeah.
but
Well, you fucking got.
It was
pulled forward.
close. It was
But,
close. Yeah.
what song were you listening to?
So there's a song from the League of Legends soundtrack
Can
of
you
the
play
show.
Can-
I can't play it out loud.
You can't play any music.
Dude, we're gonna get a copyright strike for that. I can show you after. I'll show you on the big speakers I have here.
Okay.
We'll
so
blast-
we
we'll
can, so we-
blast
so we
it.
can feel it.
Yeah, you can feel what I was feeling in the moment.
Okay.
Anyway, it's called Still Here, off the League of Legends soundtrack. One of the artists, 2WEI, I don't know, 2E, I don't know, but he or
Jesus.
they make these like cinematic soundtracks all the time, and they just like put them out in albums on Spotify and stuff. And I found that and the League of Legends one, and I was like listening to it, and I was like, oh my God, like this is it. I don't know, something about like the lyric, like kind of like in it says like I'm still here kind of thing, and it's like I've had a lot of ups and downs with training, a lot of love and hate with powerlifting, like
Oh,
debating
yeah.
retiring, debating dropping out of Westerns, like, you know, all those kinds of things. And it's like somehow making it to the platform and actually putting together like a half decent performance was like, I don't know, it was pretty special to me.
Oh yeah.
I had a lot of fun in the moment, despite being sick as an absolute dog. You know, so it was kind of like, I don't know, just something about it just really hit the spot. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's something
yeah.
that connects you to that music in that moment, right? And then, you know, back when I was in music school, I actually wrote a paper on how our favorite music is not just some combination of chords and melody and harmony. It actually has a lot to do with kind of nostalgia and our memory and the things we attach to those sounds, right? Because there's certain songs you listen to and it can take you back to a certain time and place in your life. And so it's sometimes like the memories are very, very vivid, right? But so like over time, like your favorite music can take on different meanings as you come in and out of like listening to it, right? Once like, you know, you're like, oh, I forgot about this song. You're like, oh yeah, remember when I was listening to it back then and this was happening. I was in high school, whatever. Like,
Yep.
you know what I mean? Anyway, a bit of a tangent, but
Crazy.
I'm a bit of a music nerd. You know, I went to music
Oh,
school
we're
for
well
it,
aware.
but yeah,
That's good.
I'm big into that. Anyway, let's plow ahead here with the Westerns recap and everything like that. So we competed March 7th to 10th in Moose Jaw. Big shout out to the organizers there. It was one of the best powerlifting meets I've ever been to, period.
Mhm.
You know, we've been to North Americans and it was echelons above
Oh,
what
yeah.
the organization
Oh,
of that
wow.
event. And
Yeah.
it's like, we're really lucky here in Saskatchewan, like the quality of meets that we have.
100%.
Like they're like Westerns was national level. It's going to have a very similar setup to nationals in 2025.
Yep.
So like, yeah, Ryan and Rhea Stin there. Were
Ryan, Rhea, Stin, and Fowler and
Ryan
Heidi.
Fowler and
Yeah, they
and
were
Heidi
there
as
too.
well. Yeah, they all did such an incredible job putting that meat on. And I know Ryan was also sick as a dog. It seemed like everyone was getting sick.
There was something going around
Yeah,
at Westerns. I mean,
everyone-
when you get a big body of
I think it was right
competitors and-
before two Westerns. Like
Yeah.
everyone came
Yeah.
into it sick.
Yeah.
So like it was such a cool experience overall. And like it was just awesome to be there. Right before the meet, we talked about a little bit. I don't know if Kelsey was here for this one, but we talked about like just what are our goals for Westerns. And like
Yeah.
I just wanted to enjoy the experience. And I felt
Yeah.
like I really did that despite getting
Oh,
sick.
yeah.
And
Mhm.
because I don't know, there's just a lot to drink in. And it was super cool in that we brought, like Bridge City Barbell brought the most athletes ever to a regional meet like this. Like
Yeah.
we brought something like 20 something athletes.
22, I think.
Like it was
Wow.
special that way,
Yeah.
right? And like
Yeah.
we had athletes competing from Thursday all the way to Sunday.
Yeah, we
right?
had somebody in every session except one.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
crazy. Like
Yeah.
we like BCB was quite busy. And it was such a
the
unique
amount-
experience.
The amount of compliments that we got on our jackets.
Oh my god.
That was
yeah.
all you too.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know something, Kelsey? I didn't buy one at the time because like the bank account was looking a little thin, and I was like, I don't know if I can e-transfer Danny this. And then Danny made me one anyway.
Fucking right. What is he
Oh,
not
yeah.
going to wear one? Come on.
Yeah, so I do thank you for that, Dan the man. And then I paid for it later, but yeah,
Yeah, whatever.
essentially. But
No,
yeah.
those got a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Maybe
Bryce-
that's why though.
Bryce Krawczyk was complimenting Chelsea Wall.
Oh yeah,
He's like, man, those are really nice jackets.
I wonder if Calgary Barbell is gonna emulate it in the
I
future.
wonder if we see now more of that style, that refrigerator jacket. That's because that's what it
Yeah.
is. But
Refrigerator, yeah.
I was emulating the
like NYFD.
the SFD because
they have them now.
I was
yeah.
walking through. Yeah, it started. I think
I think
I
it
don't
was
know
like
where it started.
originally like the American fire
the New York
stations.
Fire Department.
Yeah, the
maybe I don't know.
departments.
But I was walking through like co-op to get groceries, and I saw a gentleman wearing that jacket, and it had like the SFD union logo right there, and then a Canada flag, and their union number.
Yes, we're talking about
Oh,
Saskatoon
okay.
Fire Department, by the way, in case anyone
Sorry,
didn't put
Yeah.
that together. But
Yeah.
yeah, NYFD is the fire department in New York. But yeah,
Yes.
Yeah. I bought my dad the NYFD like jacket when I was in New York for a band trip in high school.
Yeah.
And then like shortly after that, the SFT adopted the that jacket.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder if I had something to do with that.
Stop it.
Probably
100%.
not.
So anyway,
100%.
Yeah.
what I did was like casually walked by this guy, creepily looked at what kind of jacket it was, and
Yeah.
I saw it was Tough Duck, and I was like, "That's the one."
Yep. I'm gonna look it up.
I'm gonna
Yep.
look it up. Sure
That's
enough,
sick.
I found it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah, those are so good. I've had people in the grocery store, like in Costco,
What's the thing?
comment on it, and
I don't think people wear like
That style of jacket.
well that style of jacket, and then also like I don't see like logos on the back,
Yeah.
and let alone powerlifting.
Yeah.
So when they
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
You know who does do logos on the back though? Racing. Because someone was wearing one at Leopold's bar when I was going there with Taylor before the second last episode. And the guy complimented my jacket. And I looked and I was like, are we wearing the same jacket? And then he turned around and I was like, oh, like you're into racing. I was
Yeah.
like,
Huh.
yeah, that's sick, man.
No way.
Yeah,
That's funny.
I
Wow.
know. Because we were like essentially matching.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he was like, nice jacket, dude. And I was, it's
What-
something some guy would say to you at a bar. You know what I mean? Like,
course.
but
Yeah.
But
Now that you say that, I have seen those jackets at the racetrack
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Because your brother
Hmm.
races,
That's right.
Yeah.
He raced.
raced.
He retired.
He's retired. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair
Anyone
enough.
want to buy a $20,000 race car? No.
Mm.
Okay.
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 Cool.
Well, where should we dive into next? Should we talk about our most memorable moments and performances and
Well,
whatnot?
I'll quickly go back and just mention that, like I said at the start, this was the first competition for a lot of lifters from Bridge City Barbell that it was the first time they were going to actually have like other competitors in their weight class. Because like being in Saskatchewan, we don't have a lot of members, like in terms of like other like compared to other provinces, I should say.
yeah, like we're a relatively small population.
We are relatively small. I think we only have like 300 and some. My goodness.
I know she did it.
Old
She did
one.
it.
That's okay. And in the province, you typically don't get like full weight classes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there'll maybe be one or two other people in your weight class.
Yeah, like a provincials or a regional or a local meet. Even,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. So like it is very different when you're lifting by yourself in your own weight class versus you have 10 other lifters breathing down your neck, putting the pressure on you to make these lifts. And it's a totally different game, I think.
Yep.
So when you have that pressure applied, we find out who you really are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of these athletes, well, not everybody, but a lot of these athletes going in, it was their first time to experience that.
Yep.
And so I think everybody did phenomenal with that being
in mind. Yeah.
in mind, So I'm proud.
It was
everybody.
A lot of my athletes did report that like it was such an interesting experience.
Yeah.
Having it, the environment's just different when other people are competing against you. Like,
yeah, man.
There's you're in the warm up room. There's like some tension, and then when you go to the platform, there's also this additional tension, and then you're watching the people in front of you go, and that's your competition out there, and then you're also kind of cheering for them at the same time, but not cheering for them. You know what I mean? Like, right? Like you're competing, right, and whatnot, but at the same time, like you also understand that like we are doing the same thing. We've had a very similar experience to get here, right?
I have no control over what you do,
yeah,
but I want you to fuck up. I won't lie.
Yeah. And then after the fact, you'll hug it out and stuff.
Exactly.
But
yeah.
But like in the moment, like you're competing and stuff, and that's a whole different like thing. And some people don't obviously think like that, or some people that competed at Westerns have maybe never been in a situation like that before.
Yeah.
Right. In terms of competitive sport, especially individual sport.
Yep.
I think the individual sport experience is a lot more unique for most people. I think most people probably participated in some sort of team sport as a kid when they were younger, right? Yeah. So kind of getting to experience that and like just it's very, very different than, just being on your own and winning your weight class by yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
So plus there's like 400 something athletes.
470, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I think a bunch dropped out, but it was definitely 400 plus.
Yeah, and the illness was going around too.
And that was by far the biggest Westerns.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yep.
I
think that was the biggest in CPU history.
Yeah.
Because it was for sure bigger than.
It might have even been the biggest regional event.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Encompassing Centrals and Easterns as well.
Interesting.
I'm pretty sure because your boy Bryce Krawchuk put out that call out online, and everyone decided to make it.
Except they didn't, but yeah.
Well, there's that too. A lot of shady shit going on.
Yeah.
But that's
we're not gonna get into that. But it's another issue.
Yeah.
But Kelsey, favorite moments. Because you did some coaching as well. You did some game day coaching.
Yeah, a little bit. I did on Sunday, the day after I lifted.
Because you're coaching Matt, right?
Matt and Derek as well.
Oh yes,
which was fun. They were both a lot of fun.
Matt's
to coach.
Like the biggest human being.
Oh,
and
he's a unit.
He's the nicest guy, but he's so strong, and it was so funny seeing like little 63 kilo Kelsey standing next to Matt.
Yep.
Kelsey's just writing down these numbers like I don't know what these are.
Yeah, I'm like, this is
280.
This is 100 kilos away from my total. Like,
this is my total.
So hard to put that into context. Yeah. But no, coaching Matt was a lot of fun. Like seeing him hit his third squat was awesome because I think he was even a little bit on the edge. And after talking to you guys afterwards, and you thought that was a fairly.
I remember sitting in the audience watching this, and based off of his second, because I had the score sheet on my phone, so I could see what was going in like live right away.
Yep.
And what was his second? Do you remember? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Or no, 265, I think.
It doesn't matter because I was based off of how it moved. I leaned over to I can't remember who it was, but I was like 275 max. All of a sudden, 280. I'm like, oh, that's a big jump.
Up.
I think that was it was like me and Taylor sitting.
I think it was you and Taylor because I leaned over and I was like 275 max, and then I saw 280. And
or
I was
Jake,
like,
maybe Jake.
I was like, oh, all right, whatever. He'll
best
do
of luck.
Best of luck.
And he did it.
Yeah,
he smoked it.
And he fucking smoked
beautifully.
It. So like, I'll insert foot in my mouth. You know what I mean? So it was. That
was a cool.
I wasn't chirping. I wasn't like critiquing you or anything. It's just what I would have done.
Yeah.
You know. But sometimes fate favors the bold.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It was a cool moment because I feel like his whole demeanor like changed after that. Like that was the first kind of sign of like, hype and like,
Yep.
okay, let's go. Like
Yeah.
we're in this that I had
Yep.
seen from him. So it was pretty cool. Carried the momentum through to the rest of the lifts. So
Yeah.
that was fun.
There's
but
something to be said for making all 3 squat attempts, setting you up to mentally and emotionally be able to handle the rest of the meet,
yeah.
right? It's you're statistically more likely to miss a lift if you miss one of your squats, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's an interesting phenomenon because it definitely deflates your sales when you miss a squat. Usually too, like your squat was close enough to your 1 rep max, but like just out of reach that you probably did fight for it a little bit.
Yep.
And that will sap all of the energy from your soul. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
your soul will leave your body and you're sitting there like, oh boy, I got a bench press now. Your back starts
Yep.
cramping
Yeah.
up. It's a
Yep.
whole phenomenon. But Kelsey, how was your Western experience overall? You competed, you did pretty good, right?
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. Like I knew, like you said, Danny, and this was kind of the first meet where it was like, okay, we actually have some competition to go up against.
Attempt selection
and
matters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like there was a lot more to think about.
It's fun when
than-
that happens, hey?
It was
like it's a good time.
I feel like I learned so much more, like incomparable to provincials or the Rise meet, in terms of just how the meet day runs, how to get your head in the game, and I mean, for my attempt selections, even like going into deadlifts, where it actually did come down to me and this one other girl.
Yep.
Yep.
Best
So-
place to be. Best
Yeah, it
place to
was.
be.
So I learned quite a bit in, you know, maybe some things I would have done differently in terms of number selection and taking advantage of those attempt changes that I just didn't have to think about at any other meets. I think to be honest, the most important part of Westerns for me was missing my second fucking squat and just feeling, like you said, feeling my soul basically leave my body. And I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, to come back on the third and hit it was above and beyond the deadlift PR.
Crazy.
Like that was a huge mental win that
Yep.
honestly a year ago I probably would have just gotten fucking pissed off and
Yep.
been like, oh,
Yeah.
well, this
Phoned
day
it
is
in.
over now. Like let's
Yep.
pack it in. But
Good for you.
so that was a huge win. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember sitting in the audience,
Oh,
and is it your parents that were behind
parents,
me?
sister, yeah.
The whole Goodmanson clan is behind me, and I'm sitting there, and I'm cheering her on. Yep, she goes, just gets fucking stapled, and I'm like, and I can feel her parents' eyes in the back of my head, and so I turn around, and your dad leans forward, I think, and I think it was your dad.
Probably.
He
yeah.
leans forward, and he's like, "What happened?" And I was like, I'm going to be honest, I'm quite surprised, but I think it's just the fact that this is her first bigger competition. She has other competitors in her class, and she's
and I'm a
feeling,
shit coach.
and she's feeling that's crazy. And she's feeling the pressure, and I think
Yeah.
maybe she was expecting it to move a little bit better, or expecting it
Less
to be
resistance.
expecting it to have less resistance, and
Yeah.
you maybe just like under like
Undersold how hard it was going to be.
Yeah.
and you
Like
weren't ready for it
Yeah.
almost, and then on top of that, you know, you invited everyone out to come watch you
Oh,
and
like
support.
10 family members.
Yeah, and so like there's no doubt I felt that you were feeling the pressure.
a little bit. Yeah.
And I remember I was like, I'm gonna go have a chat with her and maybe put out a fire. And were you crying?
Almost.
You were tearing.
Almost.
You
yeah.
were tearing up or something. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, it just took me by such surprise
Yeah.
because I had hit 130 for a double in
Right.
the gym
Yeah.
and like multiple times for a single that moved really well. So
Yeah.
I think it actually honestly started on my opener because my opener moved like shit. Like it felt like a 9.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh God, like we only can go up from here now.
Yeah.
And the second one just floored me. And that was actually the first time that I had failed a squat
Yep.
on strength because I'd
Yep.
never failed it in the gym. So
Yep.
that just threw me like right away.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure by the time I got back behind the platform, you were already there. Or
Yeah, I
Dean
ran
was
back,
there.
yeah.
You guys were both there. And
We just, I tried to like make sure that you were in a good headspace to go back out there. It was a little misgroove. These things happen. And what did I said to put the bar a
put the
little
bar
bit
lower.
a little bit lower on your back,
And
so that it
drop
doesn't
faster.
so that it doesn't fucking pitch you forward, and then hit the hole fucking hard
Yeah.
to bounce out of the bottom and use that bounce.
And
sure
it worked,
enough, and
worked
it
like a
worked.
charm. I was
That's-
so happy after that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, after I missed the second, the first thing that went through my head was, well, kiss your 400 total goodbye.
And
like,
that's
it's
the other
over.
thing is, like, if we fucking miss this squat, we're fucking out of it for
Yeah.
podium.
Put you way behind.
So
Yeah.
to hit that lift under the pressure you had was
That was
phenomenal.
huge.
Yeah,
Well done. I'm
Yeah.
snapping.
Yeah.
Well done. Yeah.
snapping.
Snaps.
I was fired up.
I got
was-
I got two things. I got two things. One, the coaching cues you used for game day coaching, they're a lot different than you use it with like day-to-day
That's right.
like form coaching, because it
Yeah.
needs to be simple, something they can
That's
change
right.
within the next 2 minutes.
That's right.
And it may or may not actually be existent or present or like make a difference.
Yeah.
But it gives the athlete something to focus on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where Kelsey's world all of a sudden spirals out of control. She loses control. She feels like she no longer has like autonomy over her movements, right? And then Danny gives you something that you can now hold on to,
Yeah.
brings you back to the present, something you can actually feel, right? Where you like put it just a quarter inch lower on your back. Now, whether that actually makes a difference, but in the moment, if you believe it, it makes such a difference, right?
Oh, yeah.
Which is like,
It gives you that belief that you
It
can
does.
overcome. You know
well,
what I
and
mean?
it's, it's not just like, okay, we'll go try it again. Like, that's pretty
yeah, well, get
hard.
another
Yeah.
move.
That's the last thing I
another
want.
shot.
Yeah, I was like, well, there's not much to change. Just go out there and fucking stand up. No, it's like
Sit down,
I had
stand
to-
up.
I had to give you something to
Yeah.
go off of, right? Because clearly it was a misgroove or something went wrong, and I
Yeah.
didn't want to go back there and just fucking tighten up your bootstraps and go out there and do it. No,
Just do it again.
I had a like with how you got pitched forward. That was my thought. Is like, well, put it down a little bit further.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll help, and then don't hesitate and just fucking hit that hole hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was, I don't know, that was the first time, because Dean coached me at provincials too, or
Right.
handled me at provincials. And after making that, like, he was fired up and I was
Yeah.
fired up, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay, we can move on. Like,
Yeah.
instantly, that was
Yeah.
no longer sitting in my head, which was, yeah, that was a cool feeling.
Imagine, just for instance, how devastating it would have been if you missed it. How would you? How
Oh.
would your headspace have been going into bench
That
press?
would have been tough to come back from, because I was already hesitant about bench just based on how it was going in training.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, okay, if all things go well, I'll match my PR,
Yeah.
which I did. But no, bench went really well, and I think it did because I had that momentum.
Mhm.
Yeah, that would have crushed me if I didn't make that third. Like, to make one
Yeah.
squat would have been tough to go back from.
It
In
happens.
there.
It
Oh.
happens.
In there.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Cool.
can't remember what my second point was going to be, but anyway,
Sorry.
I'll move along
I'm
from
sorry
that.
I
It's okay.
interrupt.
This is how podcasts work. You know,
Yeah.
it's dynamic. It's fluid.
Yeah.
If it comes back to
If
me,
it
I'll throw
comes
it
back,
in
just
there.
throw it
Yeah.
back.
But yeah, I was gonna ask to like rate as you missed your second, or I guess like when you picked the bar up, what went through your head for your second attempt, like as you picked it up?
Well, okay, so the first thing I noticed, because I usually like will fiddle with the bar a little bit, like prop it up, and I felt like there was like almost a well in the rack
That
where I
shit
couldn't
was welded.
Yes.
there,
I
man.
couldn't move
Yes.
it around. So right away I was like, okay, this feels a little bit off. Picking it up immediately, I'm like, fuck, this feels heavy. Which is not a good thing to think, because usually when I pick up the bar off the rack, I'll know like either it feels good or it feels like shit.
Yeah.
And it
Yes.
felt like shit. I felt super shaky walking it back, and yeah, hit the hole, and I felt like I came maybe like a few inches up and then just folded me.
Yeah.
So
thought-
I didn't have confidence coming into the second after the first, and yeah, the second just kind of crushed me a little bit.
So that helped me. That reminded me of what I was going to say. I saw a post where I think I can't remember who was saying it, but they're saying how like maybe you should think about not letting your athlete experience failing a lift for the first time on the platform. It's like give them that experience while in the gym, kind of a situation. And I was like, I can kind of see why that could be valuable, but I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are on that. Now, obviously, you don't want to be like constantly overshooting and failing a lift like all the time, but maybe you give them like some sort of control, like control, where like maybe you're doing like a low rep AMRAP or something of that nature. But I think maybe there's a little bit of value in failing, because if you've never failed before, you become so worried about failing. And
Yeah.
that in and of itself can be the downfall of a lifter, where you're so caught up in the fact that like, oh, if I don't get this, it's over. This is the end of everything. It's like, when in reality, it's like, yeah, you missed a lift. And now you know that when you fail, like you can still complete said lift, right?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering like what you guys' thoughts are on that. It's like maybe working in like a newer lifter who's going to compete at some point, like working a little bit of like just letting them taste failure on the way in. But at the same time, I also really value building momentum into a meet. So maybe if it's far enough away, you kind of, obviously this is not a black or white answer,
Yeah.
but give me your thoughts.
I think like this will sound cliche, but like failure is a part of getting better, I think.
Yeah.
But I think it comes down to like the type of personality that they have. Like some people are very in tune, or like they base their mood off of how training is going.
Yeah, like it totally affects their day.
Yeah, and I think even if you were to explain it, like I want you to go to fucking failure, they'll still see failure as
Failure?
failure.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know, and that'll still
Instead of just the inability of your nervous system to produce sufficient force.
You know
Yeah.
that there's a meme where it's like a picture of the world.
Yep.
2 pictures of the world and they're identical, and it's like you before you miss a lift and you after you miss a lift.
Yeah.
Nothing changes. It doesn't
Nothing.
matter.
Literally
Yeah.
nothing.
Nothing matters. Nobody cares. You know, so
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, would I ever want somebody to intentionally miss a lift? I don't think so.
Or let them. I think what it was, the post I saw was like someone was grinding like a RPE like 10.5 squat,
Yeah.
and then they were saying like, don't let this be the first time that they ever do that on the platform. It was the kind of thing, was the kind of coaching
I don't know.
philosophy. But it's built in though, because overshoots do happen.
Yeah.
And like, I guess based on what you're saying on the personality, if there's someone who's really timid about heavy lifts and you're the kind of coach that, or you're in the coaching relationship, you're kind of pushing them all the time
Yeah.
to overload, like you're trying to force them to get there because they have trouble doing it themselves, versus the other end of the spectrum where you're like pulling people back
Yeah.
because they're overshooting and failing too frequently.
Yeah.
Right? There's a balance to be struck there. But I think there's definitely like value in finding that one day where the ceiling is,
Yeah. 100%.
and also seeing where the breakdowns happen, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember like, not like shaming athletes when like they would miss a lift, but it'd be like, oh, like why'd you overshoot kind of thing. But like at the end of the day, they do happen. When you're giving someone like an RPE prescription too, it is kind of more of like a range, I think.
Yeah.
But it's just like that it's built into the training almost inherently, right? Whereas like, yeah, I guess maybe you could make an argument for like pushing someone far out from a meet just to have that experience of learning how to grind. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting thought.
Could be an ego killer, maybe.
I think it's good to do things every now and then that sit
That
your
humble
ego.
you,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sit your ego the F down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
it's
Well,
like
you
the
either
whole,
have to come, like in the case of Westerns, come back and try it again and prove to yourself that you can. And then that does act as almost a lesson going forward, whether it's next comps or
Yeah.
training. And yeah, I think if you never really have that, it's hard to learn that in a sense, I
Mhm.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the barbell
So-
is an excellent teacher.
Yeah.
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 No,
Okay.
I wouldn't take that away, even if it meant getting more kilos on the squat. That was a lesson that, yeah, I hadn't really learned up to that point. So
Part of your hero arc.
yeah.
You know, the story. You gotta, you
Cue
know.
gladiator music.
Yeah.
Thomas
yeah.
play
Thomas, pull
playlist
that
That
shit up.
playlist
Yeah.
it starts playing in the background.
That's crazy.
But yeah, no, it's like those experiences are super valuable, and like especially learning how to grind. You know what I mean? Like even like things like that. Like you need to be like right on that precipice of like, it's some mixture of like I just won't stop until like my body can't kind of thing.
Yep.
Which is just a unique headspace to go to, I think.
Mhm.
And I don't know. There's other sports where you just don't ever maybe truly ever experience that level of exertion or like kind of going to that headspace almost.
Yeah.
And there is like this risk of injury like built into the squat we've talked about in the past, where you're putting this heavy object on your back that could crush you.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I think all those things factor into your performance, because it's not just the physical capabilities you bring
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
platform.
Oh,
It's the
yeah.
mentality too,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And that headspace that you're in. And like if Danny maybe didn't give you something to right your head or right the ship after it got blown
Yeah.
off course. Who knows what would happen for that third squat, right?
Oh, I probably would have been in my head, and
I'm somewhat of a motivational speaker back there, you know. Oh fuck, I'm fucking this up.
You break the microphone, Danny.
No, it's moving on me.
No,
Yeah.
whether that was the thing, like whether the bar was too high or I was going too slow, I don't think it fucking matters.
No,
It was give me one or two things that I can control that give me a sense of control, so that I can at least go
Exactly.
into it with some degree of, okay, we have another shot at this versus this is hopeless kind of thing.
And I wasn't gonna like we said, it had to be something simple
Mm-hmm.
and nothing too complex, because like I always I probably judge other coaches sometimes when I hear them like
Give complex
giving way too much instruction on giving too much instruction to the lifter as they're fucking walking it out. I'm like, this is the last time, or this is not the time you should be doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let the athlete should already know what the fuck to do and should just focus on moving as much weight as possible.
Yeah, just don't think, just move. Is a cue I routinely use for lifters and for myself. Because like sometimes you just get so caught up in the commotion, the environment, the referees, the music, the crowd, like the competitors, right? But it's like, don't think, just move. Right? All you got to focus on is just doing the same damn thing you do every freaking day in training. You know what I mean? Like you're still just lifting weight at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like it's just another training day.
Yep.
It's just, going to be likely a little bit harder than the average training day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's something to be said for that, I think.
Yeah. I think especially leading up to competition, the training should also begin to mimic that level of intensity, like that exertion, right?
In that.
And I think, with how I do things, 1 to 2 weeks out, or I guess it'd be 2 to 3 weeks out, is when we start to do the gut check sets.
Yeah.
Where we're like 9.5 RPE. I never do like a true 10, because then when people see a 10, that's when they fucking get a little too intense and they see like, oh, if I fail, it's okay. But if I put a 9.5, they see it as like, it shouldn't be a true max, when in reality, I think people's 9.5s probably are.
They're just 10s.
They're just 10s.
Well, 9.5 RP, like technically is like.
Is it 10, but a little bit more weight?
Yeah, I could add a little bit more weight to make it a 10.
Yeah.
Is essentially all
and
it
we'll
is,
save
right?
that 10 for meet day.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, yeah. That's
Yeah.
I think there's some good value in that, especially I think for younger powerlifters as well.
Yep.
People that are newer to the sport that maybe have never done that to their body in training before, right? Because that's what you're gonna have to do on meet day, and it's specific to the meet day. Sometimes with like more experienced lifters too, I find sometimes you don't necessarily need to go so hard with the singles, or even for a shorter period of time. Like they don't need as much to like their body to clue back into. Oh yeah, right. This is what we're doing again. I remember this, right?
This is what a heavy single feels like.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I think that's another way people can kind of look at it too. I think it was maybe Mike Teixeira that was talking about something like that. Like you just don't need. I mean, there's some people that deadlift once every 2 weeks, kind of thing, right? Because they've been doing it for 40 years, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's an interesting way to look at it as well. So, just some thoughts.
Then you get the flip side of people doing gut check training day in, day out,
daily. Yeah.
You know.
Well,
we won't get into that.
Whatever floats your boat.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're making progress, you're making progress, right?
Well, until you don't. But
until you don't. Danny, what was your Westerns experience like?
Bruh,
coaching. You coached a lot.
Bro, let's get into it.
You competed. You had a really crazy flight.
So I had that was wild. Sorry, I'll get close.
You could hear it that time, couldn't you?
Well, I was yelling.
Yeah, well.
But, so I'll start because I had athletes damn near every day except for one session. Yeah. So we started off. I think Ayana was the first lifter, and going in, we knew that she was going to be competitive because she is strong, and I think warming up, there were a lot of games being played. The one lifter from Alberta, they they put in lower openers right up until the last minute to change. Because all of a sudden I was doing the math. I'm like, fuck, we're right with this one chick. And then all of a sudden, when the meet started, they went out and changed their opener to what it actually was.
Mm.
And I was like, oh shit, we're like losing ground here right away. Which, that's game. That's the tactic of the attempt selection and that. But Ayana was also sick. So that was that sickness that was going around. So she wasn't 100% healthy, but I think we got out of her the best day we could, and she finished silver. Yeah, she finished in second, so it was really good. And I heard that she did apply for the North American team, and she got on the team. So yeah, that's we set out what we set out to do. We did what we set out to do. So yeah, that was day one, and then we had Mother T.
Yeah, Mother Teresa.
Mother Teresa.
On day, it was Thursday?
Yeah, it was Thursday evening. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she did really good. Yeah, again, she was kind of stressing over squat depth.
Yeah.
And so she wanted me back there to like make sure.
She buried every set though.
Oh my God.
And then she hit the rack. She hit
her opener, she smoked depth, but then on her way up, smoked the rack and like took a step, and I was like, oh fuck, here we go.
Of all the problems to have
on the opener too.
On the opener.
Yeah.
And then she kind of tweaked her back from that too, actually.
Yeah.
So we've kind of been still dealing with that a little bit.
Oh, shit.
Love you, Mother T.
Yeah,
but
you're great. We love you.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, her squat there has been on an absolute journey because we've had issues with depth and stuff, and some injuries that have kind of restricted our range of motion in the past, which you experience pain and deep knee flexion for a long period of time. And let me tell you from personal experience, going into deep knee flexion is just something you frankly don't want to do anymore because it hurts, right? So, which makes sense. Your body's kind of programmed to avoid pain and things like that. So, yeah, it's interesting nonetheless. And then I think who competed next? Trish.
I'm pulling up the schedule,
the spreadsheet you made.
Yeah, just so I don't want to miss anybody.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, I think Trish was the next morning.
Yeah,
right?
Friday morning, I think.
Yeah.
And Stephanie was also Friday.
And
as
Sophie.
well.
And Sophie.
And
yeah,
Sophie,
yeah,
yes.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So
watch me delete this thing.
You just deleted the.
No, I probably did before.
That's okay though. I know Trish didn't quite get the performance that she wanted, but she was one of the ones that did mention to me that the environment was quite like overwhelming.
Yeah, because that was her first experience with a bigger meet as well, right?
Of like a higher level competition ever. Right?
Yeah.
I do like video calls with all the athletes after a meet, just so we can kind of shoot the shit a little bit, catch up.
Yep.
And just get some face-to-face time, which I think is nice after a meet, because I do coach most people virtually. All people virtually, and sometimes I'll go like extended times without seeing them. And some of them don't even freaking live in Saskatchewan, so I don't see them at all, right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's kind of nice to get that face-to-face time and just chat a little bit. And yeah, she was explaining how she was a little bit overwhelmed by that whole experience. What are you looking for over there?
Just a tea. Are there any more?
I think there's one in there.
I couldn't see it.
Top shelf, I think. There, Chief.
Sorry. Your boy's getting thirsty. Dang it. Yeah, and then we had Sophie and Stephanie were the next session.
Mm-hmm.
How did Stephanie do?
Yeah. I think Stephanie did pretty good overall.
Yeah.
Feel like part of her wasn't super happy with the performance. But again, that was the highest level that she's ever competed at.
She was at last year's Westerns.
Oh yeah,
too.
sorry. Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah.
So she's back at that level, and she competed there. But her last Western, she was dealing with like quite a bit of things going into it. So we came into it actually like a lot stronger and healthier than last time,
Nice.
which I think like perfecting the meet prep was a big win for her. And we talked about that because like not always like, I don't know, man. I feel like maybe it sounds like a shitty coach thing to say, but like there's a lot more to it than just the numbers on the platform, even though that is one of the main things we care about. But she conducted her first like weight cut. Like,
oh
yeah.
nice.
So and it was like it wasn't nothing. It was fairly significant.
How did it go?
Really good, man. She
Yeah.
crushed every aspect of the weight cut
Yeah.
and managed training, and her work environment was super stressful as well.
Yeah,
So
so
there's
there's tax season now.
Yeah, it was tax
Yeah.
season, man. Yeah, coming into that. So super busy. She's an accountant. And so like things
Yeah.
got like kind of crazy on her, and she had to navigate, the new diet and like all these different factors that a lot of them were like, virtually outside of her control. And then she did really well with that aspect. And like, honestly, it's like you could call it like a lot of body weight PRs. Off the top of my head, I can't remember specifically like PRs and whatnot, but I'm pretty sure we had some in there as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, after we talked, it was like she was pretty psyched about the whole
Well, that's good.
experience there.
Cool.
Yeah, and then like Sophie
was really good. This was also her first big event. But she competed nationally at I think it was like pickleball. I think she played before.
Pickleball, really?
Oh, shit.
Pickleball, or it's got a funny name. I can't remember. I'm sorry, Sophie, if you're listening.
Softball?
No. It was like, it's one of the
Racquetball.
Squash.
It's racket. Oh,
Squash?
it might be squash. It's a vegetable.
It's a
name,
racket.
I'm pretty sure.
It's a vegetable.
Pickles.
It's either
Squash.
pickleball or squash.
It's a vegetable.
Anyway, she did phenomenal. She won gold. There was another person in her weight class, and yeah, we were pretty far ahead after squats.
Yep.
And we missed, I think she hit 160 and we missed 165, which is a big squat. And then I think we went 3 for 3 for bench and 3 for 3 for deadlifts. I can't remember what she finished with, but we ended up on podium, got gold. She was pumped.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
pumped. It was
Right on.
great. Yeah.
Sweet.
And I actually missed bench only.
Oh, yeah.
From Thursday.
Yeah.
Our
Jalen.
boy Jalen Nelson made the world's team for
Mhm.
bench press
Yep.
world championships in
Nice
Texas,
work.
Austin, Texas.
Huge.
He went 3 for 3 and he benched a whopping 150 kilos at 66 kilo body weight.
Mhm.
That's nuts.
That is fucking nuts.
Nutty.
Yeah.
Strong
And
dude. Strong
I
dude.
think we probably had a little bit more, but it was actually funny because he was getting red lighted on my side every single time for heaving.
Mm.
And I'm like, what is he looking at? Because like heaving, right, is when you make contact with the bar with your to your chest, and then you get the press
Yeah.
command, and then you do a little dip into your chest, and then push.
Yep.
But that was not happening, and I don't know what this guy was looking at, but we were getting it every single time, and but we kept getting 2 to 1,
2 to 1's all you need.
and that's all we needed. So
That's a good lift.
Yeah, none of the jury wasn't overturning it.
Yeah.
Which was good. So I don't know what this guy was seeing.
Huh.
But
Well, Pulled
yeah.
it off in the end.
Pulled it off 3 for 3. Got the spot. That's what we needed to do.
Which brings us to
Amanda was also in bench
Oh
only.
yes, Amanda.
Yeah.
Yes.
She was actually competing twice. She did classic bench only and then equipped bench only, which
Mm,
is
which
which is crazy. Because we were still winging it at that time. And she benched also 3 for 3, and I think she benched 70. No, she did 80 kilos, which she was also in a class by herself. So unfortunately, she didn't get gold because
Hey, I heard
they-
Amanda fired you too after this meet.
yeah, where's she going?
I guess
Yeah,
we might as well.
Shit programming. What a loser.
Kelsey's one of the newest coaches for Bridge City Barbell.
Yeah, we were gonna get into that at the end.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, she went 3 for 3 as well. Benched 80, but because there was no one in her weight class, they didn't do awards for her.
Yeah.
Which is kind
Weird.
of bullshit.
I think that's ridiculous. You
I
still
think-
showed
Yeah.
up, put in the work.
She's still, yeah, exactly. So that's kind of
'Cause
shitty.
at levels higher than that, you get awards even if you are the only one in the weight class.
Like international meets.
Yeah, I'm
I
pretty
don't know.
sure.
I think it's
I'm
changed.
pretty sure you do. No,
I think it's changing.
I mean I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Been a while since I've been back to international meets,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah. So she did really good, and then Saturday, each day we kept getting more and more people lifting.
Yeah.
Because on the last day we
It
had
ramps
11.
up, yeah.
We had
Holy
11
shit.
people, which was just fucking busy. We needed all hands on deck that day. But Saturday, I competed Saturday night, but I tried to hand off as much coaching as I could to other people because I didn't want to tire myself out before lifting. So Saturday we had the sub juniors. We had Bo, the goat, Tennyson Webb, Jacob, and then we picked up Ben from Mongrel Barbell to help out as well. So they all did phenomenal. You want to talk about Bo?
Yeah, man. I'll talk about Bo and Tennyson, and so like I'll tell a bit of my Western story because I went through a lot over this weekend because it took me like 2.5 weeks to recover. I swear to God.
Yeah.
I got sick on the Friday, and I was doing my clinical practicum at Mackey Physiotherapy, and we do like 10-hour days there. And off the hop, like 6:30 a.m., that's when I start work. My throat was sore, and I was like, "Oh, that's not great." But like, I'm sure like I can clear this. It's just like the first day of sore throat. Man, I did not know what was coming because by lunch I was like a sniffly mess. You know what I mean? Like my neck and low back were sore from holding myself up all day, kind of thing. Like that kind of feeling. Like I had a couple gaps between patients there, and I literally laid down on like the physio bed. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sick. Like just suffering. So I finished the 10-hour workday. I made it through, saw all the clients or patients I had to see, went home. Then I had to drive down to Moose Jaw, which is like, 2.5, 3 hours away from Saskatoon. And I did that in the dark, dead sick. And I was fighting for my life to stay awake and on the road. Borderline dangerous. I had the AC cranked. I had loud like techno music playing, like cranked, just trying to get myself some stimulus. You know what I mean? It's like the kind of drive where your blinks become longer and longer and longer. And like noticing that, I was trying to wake myself up, and I'm like changing positions. I got my chest on the steering wheel, like changing your driving postures. So I make it to Moose Jaw, thankfully. Just pass right out as soon as I get to Moose Jaw. And I know because I'm coaching on Saturday the next
You got
day.
there Friday night, right?
Friday night.
We invited you to go to the spa.
Yeah. And I said,
didn't want to come.
No, I was
dead.
dead.
The spa would have done you good.
No,
just like...
I needed rest. The thing is, too, the medicine you're allowed to take for competition or near competition sucks. So like, first of all, I'm in the Shoppers before leaving Saskatoon, and I got my phone up. I got the app or the Global Dro database up. I'm holding like Tylenol packages on my left hand, looking at the components and stuff.
Yeah, like a good athlete.
That's
right.
I can barely even like keep my look at these like items because my nose is running so bad. So I got my head kind of slightly tilted back. You know what I mean? Like,
that's terrible.
Yeah, just I'm in one. You know what I mean? And I can take Tylenol cold. I cannot take Tylenol cold and flu. I cannot take Tylenol cold and sinus. But Tylenol cold, just cold, is good. It's fine. It's the pseudoephedrine in there. Turns out the meds without pseudoephedrine suck. Awful. They did nothing. Nothing at all. So that whole drive, I just had to just raw dog these cold symptoms the whole way. And you saw my car the day after.
Dude, that was crazy.
Kelsey, I walked out of Shoppers with a box of tissues and the meds, and I hit the road, and I had no garbage, so I was just throwing the tissues.
Yeah, so I opened the door. A
mountain.
Oh my God.
A mountain of tissues.
A mountain of used tissues.
Tissue ghosts.
Anyway, so I wake up and I'm coaching now, and I get to the meet, and I'm just dog tired, and I'm there to coach Bo and Tennyson.
Yeah. And
Tennyson had a hamstring strain that he was still recovering from, so we're kind of working through injury, working with his chiro down in Regina there. Shout out to Sean Lamb, who actually recently competed at a meet for the first time as well.
Yeah.
Squatting high bar and everything. What an animal.
Ew,
anyway,
gross.
I know. But so Tennyson made a really good recovery, and I believe he got a couple PRs too. And coming back off that injury, like it was like we had just started working together, and it's kind of like, what am I going to be capable of for Westerns? Should I pull out of Westerns? And I was like, listen, dude, let's see what we can put together. You can't get your refund for Westerns at this point in time.
Yeah.
Let's go find out. We had like 10 weeks or something like that, or maybe a little less, 8 weeks or so. And it's like, let's just go find out what's there. Like worst case Ontario, this young guy learns how to train around an injury, right?
Yeah.
Like, and do so with all the psychological factors that are associated with that we've talked about quite a few times on this podcast, right? And so, yeah, all in all went pretty good. And then Bo did, exceptionally well. He got the national squat record. He almost got the national bench press record. He wanted to go for it, so I put it on the bar for him. I knew he wasn't gonna get.
There
it
was
going up
nobody
there.
even remotely close
Yeah,
to his
in his numbers
his
at that
numbers.
time.
Yeah.
So he was like, I want to still go for it. And I was like, and of course, in the moment, I'm not going to tell him, like, you're probably not going to get it because you never know. You never know for sure.
Yeah.
And honestly, he didn't get stapled by it. He got it off his chest and then got stuck. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like an absurd like number to put on, just like more than I would have put on in any other circumstance. But he really wanted to go for it. And when you're that close to a damn record, it's like, all
Why
right,
not?
Go for it.
fine. It's a
Yep.
national record. That might be your only shot ever to hit it because you never know what life's going to throw your way after
Yep.
that.
Yep.
So then deadlift, exceptionally well. He got the national deadlift record, which also gave him the national total record, which also solidified his GL points as best all time in the CPU.
Crazy.
Best all time in the CPU as a sub junior based
Yeah.
off points.
What
Yeah.
did he
That
have?
is crazy.
What points?
97 point something.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it-
The number one before was 96 something.
That's
but
crazy.
With
And his total was like,
696, wasn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
696 or
Yeah.
something.
Holy
like
shit.
Crazy.
Bruh.
He's like 8 years younger than me, and total is like, I don't know, 30 kilos more than me.
It's insane.
And he's also
Well, you guys are actually relatively close. It's just his
Yeah.
squat is a little bit better.
yes.
Well, he's
yeah.
also a weight class down.
He's also 10 kilograms lighter than me. Yeah. So whatever. He's a freak. Good job, Bo.
I got to worry about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so that was quite the time. Yeah, he's coming up to your weight class. Yeah, it's
Oh,
exciting.
he's in my weight class.
Well, yeah, he's in, but he's not in your age division.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So
He's
It's
got
coming,
the big,
though.
He's got the big dogs to deal with now.
he's
Just
in
kidding.
the big pound.
No, he's fucking
Yeah.
he's phenomenal.
So that should cement his place at Sub Junior Worlds, which is super exciting because he gets to
Yeah.
go there for like his fourth meet,
yeah.
which is a very
Wow.
unique experience.
Yep.
I think the list for that is coming out soon.
should be soon.
Yeah, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
Anyway, that went really good. And after that, I was so burnt out and tired because like the energy and the math required, and like I'm dead sick this whole time. I got fucking tissues in my fanny pack. You know what I mean? Like I am fighting for my life that entire thing. God bless Caleb Harrison, one of my athletes that was in the back coaching someone. He helped me load all the squat and the deadlift stuff. Cause like, I don't know if I had it in me, man. Like I was like, you talk about like some David Goggins doing hard shit. I was doing hard shit that day, man. Like I had to
Yeah.
dig deep.
Who's gonna carry the ball?
Literally, I was like, you're a dog. You got this, bro. I'm like pep talking myself to get through coaching. And like, thank God Bo and Tennyson are like, they were like relatively like easy to coach all in all. Like it wasn't like
They're very competent.
they're very competent. They're very humble young guys.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They're very
for how strong they are.
yeah.
Man, if I was like that when
And
I
how
was that
young
age,
they are. Yeah.
Fuck, I would just be like, I'm the fucking shit.
Yeah, man. So like they're both very level headed,
Yeah.
which made my job a lot easier. So yeah, that was very nice that way. And then after that meet, I went and grabbed Subway, went to go get some NyQuil, and then went back to the and Buckley's, and then went back to the hotel, slammed a bit of everything, put a little cocktail together, made sure it was all good on Global Dro, and then I passed out for about 15 hours, and then woke up
Wow.
the next day, an hour early because of daylight savings time.
Oh.
Because
That's right. He shows up. I'm like, what are you doing here?
I was like, I'm here to compete. He's like, yeah, but weigh-in. And I'm like, weigh-in starts in like 45 minutes. You're like, dude, it starts in an hour 45.
Holy.
So Saskatchewan does not observe daylight savings time, but my phone was set to like Manitoba time for some reason, which is
Spooky.
weird, I guess. The
Yeah.
ghosts.
Yeah.
And so I was there a little early, but honestly, it wasn't that bad because I had slept for 15 hours already. First thing I drank after weighing in was Buckley's. That was my post weigh-in consumption.
Hey, his ass.
Yeah.
I was really hoping Buckley's wouldn't give me the shits. I'll be honest, because like it's a
It's a dicey
thicker
game.
liquid,
Yeah.
and I'm not used to it. And I was kind of worried about that a little bit. Like it was definitely in the back of my head.
Yeah.
But no, everything worked out pretty good. And then I competed the next day. Who else competed on Saturday?
There's Jacob and Ben.
Yes,
Jacob Rushton, our other sub junior, 105.
yeah.
14 years old.
Strong boy.
Really?
Very strong
Wow.
lad.
Yep.
Yeah, he
Jacob.
squatted. Yeah, he squatted 190. Matched his squat PR from provincials, and then we hit a 10 kilo bench PR of 240 or 110 kilos, 242 pounds. And then
He benched 240. No.
damn. No, and then his deadlift. What did he deadlift? I think he missed 215. think he missed 215, but 14 years old, man.
Wow.
Man, you can remember
It's
all these
crazy.
numbers, but you couldn't remember to text Kelsey back about this
Yeah.
podcast.
Calling you out. What do you have to say for yourself? Left me on red.
That's fucked. I need meds.
I need meds.
That's crazy.
Well, we love you nonetheless.
Well, maybe
Uh.
I can't say it on the. I can't say it. I can't say it.
Time out.
No.
Yeah, I
T
got
for
you.
T for the other one. Yeah, and then we had Ben from Mongrel.
Yep.
Another very strong 15-year-old. Same weight class, I think he was, or maybe he was 93. He was 93 or 105, 93 or 105, but he squatted 230. 232, so
Holy
like
shit.
5,
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
517 at 15 years old.
I was not
Jeez.
squatting that at 15.
Fuck, that's strong.
Yeah.
So
Good for him.
there's a lot of there's a bright future I see for Sask powerlifting
Well,
with these young guys.
Powerlifting is pretty young still, like in the grand scheme of things. You know what
Yes.
I mean, so like that. I don't. At least in Saskatchewan, I don't think we've like reached that flattening point where like the increases in the sport performance.
The curve
Yeah,
is
the
not
curve.
flattened,
The curve's
if you will.
not flattened. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it gives me a little PTSD saying
Yeah,
that. But yeah,
that's crazy. 2
2
weeks.
Yeah, 2
Kidding.
weeks. Yeah, that worked out. Yeah. So then that takes us to
It was Kelsey and Chelsea's session,
yeah.
and we went through yours,
On Saturday.
and then Chelsea. We were coming in and
Is this
not
Saturday?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Chelsea, we were coming in not too hot. She was riddled with adductor issues and all this other stuff. And there's a lot of life stressors going on as well.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing like with Tennyson, like, well, we can't get our money back. Let's just go in and
Let's see what happens.
see what happens. And sure enough, she did really good. I can't remember offhand what the lifts were. I think she matched her squat PR.
I mean, you posted about all this stuff, so people are really curious.
If you're curious, look it up.
Go look at British Barbell's Instagram.
Yeah, but
I mean, you didn't post it. I guess it was Kelsey. but-
Kelsey, our social media manager.
Yeah.
Shut up. Yeah, but she did really good, and I'm proud that she still showed up and did what she could.
If I had to sum up my whole Westerns experience, it'd be that word. It was like proud. I was very proud
I'm proud of everybody.
of everyone, of how everyone like showed up. They
Yep.
represented themselves like really well. The team like really
Yeah.
well. The sport really well. Like
it was really good
Mhm.
first. Well, not first showing, but like, well, I guess first showing for like everybody who hasn't been to a big meet like that before. How
Yeah.
they conducted themselves, not only as like you said, an individual, but the team as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Saskatchewan powerlifting in general.
Yeah.
I think it was really good.
I was very proud of the team. Yeah.
Now my session.
Yeah, no one
Cool.
cares. Let's
Yeah,
skip.
let's go on.
Put some weight on the bar.
Sunday, shut up. I know that was fucked. Eh?
That was
I
good.
ate it. I ate it. So my session was the prime time session for Saturday night.
Mhm.
It was all kind of stemmed around Nick Manders and Adam Jansen fighting for the spot on the world team.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, Cafu Hatsuyama was in the number one spot at the time. And he totaled 800.5 at North Americans in 2023 to earn his spot.
Damn.
Yeah, that's a big squat. That's a big total.
That's-
for
yeah.
right
Yeah,
at 83 kilos. And so he was the one in the number one spot, but that was also the target that everyone had to shoot for to beat. So with these two guys, Jansen and Manders, going, they needed 801. So that was their target. We all knew what they were going to be doing. That was the game plan. And originally, it was all three of them going, and it was going to be a fucking dogfight to see who got it. It was going to be awesome. But then Calf, unfortunately, got injured and had to pull out from the meet. But he still had his spot from North Americans because he did 800.5. So he didn't need to go. But again, because Bryce put that call out, he wanted everybody who was going to be going to be at the same meet.
Like everyone that's vying for the world spots to
Right.
show up at the same meet.
Correct, yeah. Just to make it fair.
Yeah.
Or tried to make it fair.
Which didn't happen, but yeah.
Which didn't happen, but that's a whole other thing. So he pulls out. I was nominated fourth, but when he pulled out, I got put in the third. So I'm like, oh God. that makes it a little bit interesting. And right behind me was another guy, Ann Din from Manitoba, who was nominated 5 kilos behind me.
Mm.
So I'm like, he's going to be right there breathing down my neck, fucking dogging it for podium. So that was like the layout of what was going to be happening. We all saw it. This is what was going on. And the meet starts. Oh, actually, I'll start with the warm-up room because it was intense back there. I'll tell you. I've never been in a more, I don't want to say hostile, but like, fuck, there was like
Tense.
It was tense. I could feel it.
Was it as tense as my North Americans?
I would say so.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Pretty freaking tense.
Because like, so Jansen and Manders like separated and were warming up on opposite ends, which was, I mean, makes sense. Totally fine.
Yeah, those that are closest usually like split, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't
most
know.
of the time, but-
I don't know their relationship. They both coach at the same place, but I don't know I don't know. They were just on opposite ends. You know, I wasn't reading into it too much. But Jansen asked me if we want to warm up together because we're going to be warming up the same. We pretty much squat the same, and it'll just make life easier if we just do that. So it was me and Jansen on one side, and then like everybody else was on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what happened. I don't know who this guy was, but he walked over, and I don't know what he said to Jansen. But all of a sudden, Jansen's like, "Yo, fucking get this guy away from me." And like he's swearing, and I'm like, and then like I could see his face, and it was the face of like
angry.
He was angry, and I was like, "What's happening?" I turned to Kurt. I'm like, "What's going on?" And then all of a sudden, Cam Hughes, who's coaching or who's handling Jansen, he's like, "Yo, man, you got to get the fuck away." And there was just like drama, and I was like, "What is going on? We're just warming up." And me and Kurt were like, "I don't know, blinders on, let's go." And from there, it was just like you could feel it in the air back there. It was just like tense, and I was just like, "Damn, this is hype." I was fired up. So we start warming up. Warm-ups are going great. And it's me, and I think I was second last to open up squat. And so I opened up I opened up 265 and smoked it. And I was really happy with that. And we decided to go up to 277 and a half. It was a 12.5 kilo jump, and go through all of that, go out there. And I've never been in a crowd that was like as supportive as it was. Cause like, I like to think I was like the
Hometown kid?
the hometown, the crowd favorite.
Yeah.
And it's probably just because I was from, Saskatchewan. I was being, it made sense to me. And I go out there, fucking smoke it. And I turn to the camera and I'm like, "Put some weight on the bar." And like fucking people are going nuts. And I'm just like, woo, fucking rowdy. It was good. Great time. And we load up. Kurt asks me, "Do you want 290 or 295?" And I'm like, "Oh, fuck, 295. Probably not." Because the national record's 295.5. And I tell him, and I'm confident. I am confident 290 is going to go. And I'm like, that shit's going to go. That was my last heavy single in training. I'm more than confident it'll go. And that puts me to close off the squat session. So I'm after Jansen at this point. And I go out there and I don't know how I missed it. It was so high. Like I hit depth, come up. I'm like a couple inches from like lockout or something, and just didn't have it. Just puttered out.
Yeah,
so
close.
It was
but not
close.
Very.
Very close, but not close enough. So I wasn't that upset, honestly. Like, we talk about like, oh, you miss your third, you miss a squat attempt, you're more statistically to fail another attempt going forward. Well, I didn't have that like mental block.
Yeah.
I just took it as, all right, on the bench.
Yep.
And I think part of that, how easygoing I was going into bench, was Kurt. Because we had that really great communication, and he was really good at like being objective, but also pumping my tires a little bit. And just going forward, we had to make sure we made all 3 lifts to because I have like not the best bench press in terms of this flight
Relative, yeah.
relative, and I was gonna lose ground going into deadlifts, so I had to make sure we had to go 3 for 3, and I ended up getting like 162.5, which was a really good call. I think 165 was probably there, but 162 was like perfect. Excuse me, it wasn't a grind. I didn't like kill myself to get it, and we were going into deadlifts with good like momentum. And then going into deadlifts, me and Ann were. I don't know the numbers exactly, and I don't want to give wrong numbers. But we were both opening up the same, and our plan was to match him because all we had to do was stay tied.
Yeah.
And I was going to beat him on body weight. And our plan was to just match his attempts and then force him to do something on his third that he can't do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what happened. So we both opened up 265. We both get 265. We both jump to 285. We both get 285. And we put in and this is where I talk about like Kurt being really good with like the game day tactics and stuff. We talked about our game plan. Kurt goes and puts in 295 as a placeholder to make think that Ann needs 297.5 because he needs to beat me by 2.5 because he can't tie on body weight because I'll win. He needs to beat me by 2.5. So if we put in 295, they put in 297.5, and wait. Now we're basically playing a game of chicken. Who blinks first? That's what's going down. And we're sitting there waiting. We know what the plan is. We're watching them. They don't catch on. So we're like, okay, this is working. And the bar is creeping up to our weight. It gets to like 275. I'm like 2 lifters out. Kurt goes, makes the drop to 290, and they didn't catch it. So now we put them in a position to pull more than they need to win. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Because technically they would have only needed 292 if I get 290. Makes sense?
Yep.
Everybody? Audience, makes sense? You're following? Good.
Maybe there.
Maybe not. So now 290's on the bar. I'm still in the lead position. If I get 290, it's over. Okay? If I don't, he still has a chance to get it. So I go out there, classic third attempt deadlift. Thomas, what do I do?
All out.
No, I don't get it. Fine. I don't get it, but I'm still in the spot I'm still in third position. And like I said, we put this guy in the worst position to do it. And fucking somehow, I got to give it to him. He goes out there and dogs it out and gets it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was hard. Like, like I said, I always cheer for I don't cheer for my athletes. But like, I was like, fucking good for you, man.
You mean your competitors?
Competitors, yeah. Oh, my bad. My competitors.
Jesus.
No, fuck my athletes,
Yo,
man.
what?
No, I got to give it to him. Like, he did a phenomenal job. That's about as much pressure as you can get.
Mm-hmm.
And he still performed and got it. So I think our battle overtook the other two because they weren't having a great day anyway. And they weren't even close to 801. So people were like, whatever. But like watching our battle unfold, coming down to the very last deadlift, that was also the first time I've ever been in that tight of a battle and playing the games we played. And
it's a cool situation.
Fuck, it was so awesome. I wasn't even upset that I lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just pumped to be a part of it.
Having it come down to the final deadlift is like one of the most unique experiences.
Fuck, man.
in
Yeah.
powerlifting.
As like on the outside, you're just watching guys lift. But like if you understand what's happening and like this guy needs this to win, and to see them like overcome that pressure and get it, fucking phenomenal.
Sweet.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's what powerlifting's about.
It's all about, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sweet. So I got fourth. I still applied for North Americans. Didn't get the spot. It's all right. I'm content with how I did.
Yep.
We move forward. But
On
yeah,
to
that was
next.
my Westerns. This was fucking so fun. That was the most fun I've ever had at meet.
Yep.
And huge shout out to Cornerstone Barbell, Kurt Cornelson, and that whole crew. Phenomenal work. And James Cornelson as well.
Yep.
They're dogs. Hell
Dogs.
yeah.
Cool, man.
So that was that.
That was
that
the
was the
end
prime
of,
time Saturday session.
End of Saturday, and then Sunday.
Sunday,
Amanda competed in the morning.
Sunday morning, Amanda competed in equipped bench press. So I don't lift equipped. So we have been like troubleshooting this and like figuring it out as we go. And I would love to go to Moose Jaw and lift with Rhea and all of them because they're the goats, rightfully so. But like it's 3 hours away and I don't want to go drive there on a weekend.
Yeah.
But we've been figuring it out. And I've been YouTube and stuff and just trial and error. And I think we figured it out because to wear the bench press shirt right, it was always like too high up on the chest and her boobs would be in the way. And when she would come down with the bar, it would just choke her. The shirt would ride up and just choke her. So like she couldn't breathe. And I'm like, well, I don't fucking know. And so eventually we figured out like, hey, we just got to get the shirt further down. And so what I would do is like, if for the audience, well, I mean, there's only audio. I would have to pull the shirt open and like scoop my hands and pull her boobs up to pull the shirt down further. So it would create a ton of cleavage, right? But then she would be able to come down and it wouldn't choke herself. And she was able to put the bar in a much better position. And then all of a sudden we were able to get like a ton out of the shirt, which I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, we figured this out. Perfect. And I Googled, I looked on the website, the powerlifting website, what the national record was, and it was 113.5. Sorry, it was 113, and our plan was to take 113.5 for the national record. So we opened up 105, smoked it. I'm like, hell yeah. Second, 110, smoked it. I'm like, hell yeah. Let's load it up. 113 and
a half.
113 and a half. Sorry. And have you both seen that picture of me?
Yeah.
Okay. Moments before that was taken, I dropped the hardest line ever, the most motivational line I've ever said. And I was like, I can't remember what it was. I was like, this is what we worked for, blah, 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 blah. You want it? You got it. Now go and get it. And boom, the picture was taken. Okay. She goes out there. She locks it out, but it's, she kind of struggles at lockout and she begins to like flutter. And there was up and down at the top and her butt came up. So everything kind of fell apart at the end, but she still moved it. Yeah. Which is like an achievement in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So phenomenal performance there. We just fell short of the national record.
Yep. I thought she had that when I was watching. I thought she had it 100%.
I was losing it, and we were trying something new that day where I was calling her. I was calling out where she was because when you're pressing in a shirt, you begin to lose like sensation. So you can't feel it when you're touching. Yep. So I would call out like down, 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 and when I can see it's touching, I would yell hold. And so that's what we were doing. And it was working so perfectly that she was just like smoking these attempts. Yep. And just fell short on the lockout and had a bobble at the top, up and down, butt came up. But super pumped. Nice. Super pumped to see where we can go now. Yeah. Now that we kind of got it figured out. Yeah. Because that was only like a few weeks before. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, that seems like a
whole... you could do with more time.
Seems like a whole different realm
of
my God. Lifting.
Yeah, you'll find out. You're coaching her.
Yeah.
Good luck. I'm not helping you. No,
I'm not helping you.
No. Yeah. But yeah, then we had the big session, which was the 93 Open.
Oh, there's so many of us.
Fuck, there were 7 of you plus 105. Andrew Cirque was there.
Yeah, at the same time.
So that was like an all hands on deck kind of day.
Andrew competed. I competed.
Taylor competed. Jake competed.
Derek. Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite busy.
Yeah.
But you all did phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was you, Derek, and Taylor in flight A, and then Jake was in flight B for the 93s.
Yes, for the 93s.
Yeah.
Because Jake's strong.
And Taylor was a little offended that he was in flight A.
Yeah.
So I was like, good, then prove him wrong that you were in the wrong flight.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he beat a few guys in flight B. So that was good. Taylor What did he end up squatting? It was
260, I think.
260?
I think so, yeah.
I feel like it was more than that. I think it was
It was
262.
hype.
I think it was 262, but fuck, he got that dog in him, man.
Yeah.
It was great.
Oh.
I have never seen anyone geek out or tweak out as much as he was prior to squatting.
Yeah.
So, like, geeking out, I don't know what the fuck. I just saw a meme one day and it was said, like, geeking out, and I sent it to everybody. So that was the term we were using to when you're just, like, freaking out. And he was a wreck. Like, just his fucking eyes were going everywhere. He was yelling at me, and I'm like, why are you yelling? We're warming up. And he's like, oh, sorry. And he was just all over the place. And I could tell, like, I was just like, fucking put your music on and zone in here. You'll be good. And sure enough, after he got his squat opener, he was, like, locked in again. But I don't know what it is, but
The pre-opener squat.
the pre-opener squat in
Yeah.
particular, people change.
Yeah.
People, it's Jekyll and Hyde.
Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, so he hit 262, I'm pretty sure. If I'm wrong, fuck it. And then bench press. Our bench press training has been, like, really good. He's been getting really strong. He hit 150?
I think it was 150. Yeah.
150, which is I think a meet PR,
Nice. Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, I think it was
Again,
150.
I might be wrong. If you want to look, we have it's on our Instagram page.
Yeah, it's not so much about the numbers; it's about the stories. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
that's
saying?
right.
Yeah.
And then deadlift, we were having issues with not lockout, but grip slipping at lockout.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sure enough, his second attempt, I could see it open up, but they gave it to him. So I wasn't sure how much to jump because of another pound and it's going to open up his left hand. And that's exactly what happened. He got it to lockout and just, like, slowly opened up, and yeah, that was that.
Yeah, it happens.
I think
Yeah.
I think he was pulling I think he got 265 and then we went
yeah.
to 270 maybe. I think.
Yep.
And that's what got him.
Nice.
But overall, phenomenal meet. And then you were coaching Derek. How did that go?
Yeah, Derek had a good day.
Yeah.
Well, he wanted
He wanted a 227.5 squat, that 500-pound squat. But what did we
Yeah.
put on? Based off his second, it was like
225, I think, was his
third, right?
third. And I thought he was going to get that all the way up. Like, he got past.
225. That's like 496.
496, yeah.
He got past what it looked like his.
He had
or
a high sticking point too,
Yeah.
and just, like, again, puttered out.
Yeah.
Happens.
Yeah, it happens.
But no, other than that, he was 8 for 9. He wanted a 600 total. Came out with 602.
Yep.
And no, he was a lot of fun to handle, and yeah, bench, like, nailed 150, which I think was a
Big PR
for
too.
sure a PR for
Yeah.
him, and yeah, it was awesome.
Man,
Crazy.
a lot of 93s in that flight benched 150. It was like
Yeah,
the bar did not change.
Yeah. And that's it. That's another thing sometimes is if the bar doesn't change, you lose that time between attempts when they're loading the plates.
Yeah.
So you get shorter rest times, you know?
Yeah.
Not that is
Or
a
like it
huge
throws off, like,
difference,
the
but
cadence of it.
it
Wh-
throws off the cadence. Like
Yeah.
you're sitting there listening to your tunes, and all of a sudden you're getting shoulder tapped.
the bar's loaded.
And you're like,
oh,
what the fuck?
already?
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was moving fast for
Yeah.
quite a bit of that flight.
Yeah.
Going
Well,
quick.
every platform had a phenomenal
the volunteers were
crew?
top notch.
Mhm.
yeah, and so it's just like a fucking NASCAR pit crew out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just done. Yeah.
Loaded, bars loaded.
Yeah.
Yeah, every
It
time.
was sick.
Yeah, it was good. And then I had Jake for who I was coaching.
Hold up,
and,
that's flight B. Let me talk about myself.
Oh,
though.
I'm sorry, Thomas. You
But
go.
yeah, I
My
I had
bad.
one of my own athletes handle me again.
Who was
So
it?
last time I had Jake
Steph,
handle
wasn't
me.
it?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Steph handled
yeah.
me this time around, which is always a cool, like, full circle moment and everything. It's kind of a special when you get to have, like, kind of that experience and stuff. And, like, I wasn't really going for anything, like, special. Like, I knew my numbers weren't going to be, like, top competitive or anything. So I was just going in there to have a good meet,
Yeah.
kind of thing, and enjoy the experience and all that. I was super sick, so I wasn't sure how I was going to go. Warming up for squats, I was unreasonably sweaty for what I was doing. You know what I mean? I was just like, I was hot. I was warm. So yeah, it was like I was feeling some kind of way, But honestly, squats went really good. I squatted like 245, and
Nice.
honestly, I had a bit left in the tank, which I did not expect, given
think
that I
so
was
too,
I was
yeah.
sick. Yeah, and I absolutely buried the depth, as I usually do.
Yep.
So like that was kind of really reassuring. And then bench, I did like a 6 or 7 second all out grind on bench for
Dude, I was
150
watching.
kilos.
I was in the back watching, and how like the athlete corral is kind of sitting there, and there's
Yep.
a TV
Everyone's watching.
Everybody was cheering.
Yeah.
It was just like a 10-second grind, and
Yeah.
then like at 5 seconds, people were like, "Yeah,
He's still going. He's still going."
yeah, it was so good. Yeah,
It was so funny because I got up from that experience and like the amount of pressure in my sinuses was like absolutely had me feeling like I was on a different planet. You know what I mean? Like it was just like I'm disoriented and stuff.
Yeah.
And people were like, "Oh, was that a PR?" And I was like, "No, I'm just sick."
Yeah, I'm just dying.
2.5 kilos off my PR though, so that's really good. I was surprised though, like that bench seemed to take the hit from being sick the most.
Yeah.
But it's also just meet day. We're not in control of everything.
Yeah.
Shit happens.
Maybe
Blah
a
blah
lack
blah.
of fluids or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually was pretty happy with how I managed being sick and my overall nutrition hydration.
Yeah.
I never felt drained throughout the day. Sometimes where
Yep.
you don't eat properly throughout a meet day, and like by deadlifts, you're like, oh man, I want to go home.
Yeah.
You just don't have that dog in you anymore.
Yeah.
The dog went home. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I've been there, and I did not have that experience whatsoever. I
Yeah.
timed all my nutrition well, kept hydrated, kept sipping fluids, kept drinking Gatorade. It was perfect on that end.
Yeah.
And with being sick, that's not easy to do either, especially like going into the meet. I was like, I still was cutting a little bit.
Yeah.
So I have to be conscious with like being sick and like navigating the fluids and food and stuff. But while also fueling my body for the task at hand, right?
Yep.
And and then went to deadlifts, and honestly it was going pretty good. I just missed my third by probably half a second before I got the down command. I was
Yeah.
just all on my toes on my left
They
leg in
saw you
particular.
getting pulled forward, and they were like,
Yeah.
"Fuck this guy." And
Yeah,
they're just gonna
fuck this
hold it.
guy. I'm gonna wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. Because I think it was Russ in the head chair or something. Or
No, I think
was he on the side?
he was on the side
Yeah.
because even he was like, "Man, why are they making him hold it that long?"
Yeah. Something. Yeah. Anyway, so I almost had it. I almost locked it out, and I was like right there, and I was the last one pulling in the flight too, so it was kind of cool that
It's
way.
always a good feeling. To
Yeah,
close it off.
it is. It was a
Yeah.
cool feeling to go
Yeah.
last. And, everyone's kind of like sticking around to watch. Like, oh damn, this guy's putting on 280,
Yeah.
which was gonna be like a pretty big PR for me, I think. Because that
5 kilo PR.
Yeah. I haven't
75 back in 21.
back in 21. It's been
Yeah.
a while since I PR'd that deadlift.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, with life coming in with school and
Yeah.
it's just been hard to train and stay consistent and stay uninjured, it seems, because there's all these additional life stressors. And honestly, I'm really happy with the performance because my goal coming into physio school was just to maintain my strength. My best all-time total is 660, and my best all-time 665, and my best and my total at the meet was 660. So it's only 5 kilos off my best all-time total. So my
Nice.
goal was to just maintain my strength, and I would argue that I am stronger than I was when I started physio school. It's just
Okay.
that I was sick on meet day,
I think so.
which happens.
Yeah,
know
you
what
were
I mean?
you were chugging, was it Benelin or
Buckley's.
Buckley's and
Buckley's
pre
and- yeah.
supersetting them
Yeah, I
in the
had- what a
back.
combo.
Buckley's and
Oh my
pre-workout,
God.
dude. Well, fuck, like I can't take pseudoephedrine, but I'll take a gram of caffeine, I guess. Like,
That'll
Oh.
work. Just float out to the
yeah,
platform.
yeah, literally, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hover.
and for that third deadlift, I was absolutely just fiending to get
Oh,
out
yeah.
there and just rip it off the ground.
Dude,
you
like
know
I
what mean?
said, I haven't seen that look in your eyes in
Yeah,
a
It-
long, not since probably North Americans.
yeah. It sounds cringe, but like I have like mantras that go through my head that I like will repeat.
Yeah.
And so like, I don't know, like I have a very strong affinity for like Viking culture. I thought it was so cool how they would just run out into battle. Allegedly, I'm not like some Nordic historian, but like basically like they just weren't scared of death. They embraced the thought of dying in battle. That was the way they wanted to go. And it was like, I would almost integrate shit like that into my mantra where it was like I'm not afraid of death and stuff like that. It sounds super cringy because I'm literally just picking up
What's wild?
heavy circles, but
what's-
that's what's going through my head.
What's wild is you're comparing yourself to, like the Vikings or like the Nordic,
Not even
the
remotely
Gaul,
close.
the Gaul, but you're Italian, which is Italy, which is formerly
I'm
Rome.
Viking.
The Roman
Okay,
Empire.
the Roman Empire, and they were notorious for like never backing down.
That is true, though.
You know what I mean? I always
yeah,
thought
that's
you'd
true.
be like,
Yeah.
you'd be like a Roman
the
centurion.
Roman Legion.
Yeah, Legion. Yeah. It's interesting. You gravitate towards like the Nordic culture.
Yeah, there's
and all
that too. Even like the.
I mean, not that. Oh, because you're Italian, you're gonna be, wow.
Elmer Fudd just came out.
You're gonna gravitate towards, because you're Italian, you should gravitate towards, Italy, Italian stuff. But
I'm pretty
you know,
interested in the gladiator
yeah.
culture too, actually. But yeah, I
I've
don't know.
never fucking started like that in my life.
All right.
Holy shit.
Mix it with water there,
Dude,
chief.
I might need these twisted teas are hitting me. That's crazy.
Yeah. So overall, like,
Oh.
I don't know, in terms of mantras and stuff, like that's kind of like what I was leaning into, while also listening to the most cinematic song. Like
Yeah.
at the like, I was just literally just staring at that barbell, like, I will lift you.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know, just I was able, because of the mantra and like where I put my headspace, I was able to let go of failure. I was able to let go of like, I don't care if I miss this lift. I'm just going to leave it all on the platform. I'm going
Yeah.
to die and go out on my shield kind of thing, right?
Fuck,
Like,
listen to this.
Yeah,
Just
I don't know,
relax.
Okay, but after you kind of brought up this, like, the go out on your shield, like after missing my third deadlift, I guess we all did.
Ah,
Look at that. But
losers.
yeah, we suck.
I thought I would be fucking choked after missing that. And I you know what? I was happy that it ended the way it did. I didn't put it down. I literally went onto the ground
You
with
very
it.
clearly
And
didn't
it's,
have anything left in the tank.
no,
Yeah.
like there's nothing more that could have been done. And yeah, what more can you hope for than that?
And it's just, Danny's been there. It's very disappointing when you have stuff left in the tank and you could throw it on there and you didn't.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not a good feeling. Hey.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's especially deadlifts, man. Like that's the time just to swing, I think. And
Yeah.
like, you know,
Give a shit.
There is a thing to be said though, like what wins meets.
it's the total. But
You
like
know
if
what
you're
I mean?
if you're in a position to build the total, then it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, build the total. But if
Yeah.
you're not, then it's like, yeah, if
Yeah.
it's there or it's potentially there, load the PR on the bar. Right? That's what got us in, usually most of us, that's what got us addicted to the sport in the first
Yeah.
place. It's that chasing of the next the next
Yeah.
PR, that feeling, right? Where you
Yeah.
didn't think you could do something and you overcame the challenges and did it, right?
Totally.
Mhm.
But there's something to be said. Like I don't like to chase numbers, but you got to take what's there.
Yep.
I think,
Yeah.
and that's why I think having a competent coach, game day coach,
Yeah.
and a competent, emotionally intelligent lifter, you can have that conversation of trying to figure out like how close can we get to failure, you know,
Mhm.
without having ego in the way.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
chasing numbers.
Yeah, it's hard
'Cause
to
I can chase numbers all day and
and go 3 for 9.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So, yeah.
yeah, good
And then
stuff.
and then Jake competed. He did
Jake, fuck.
Jake did excellent given the circumstances that, I mean, just in general, actually, but given the circumstances that he had coming up to the meet where he was dealing with a nerve overstretch injury.
Yeah.
And like, you know, Jake, you know, we got involved with Dr. Sean Lamb, the chiro there down in Regina. And, you know, between him and I was kind of handling like Jake's rebuilding phase and stuff. And he went from benching like close to 400 pounds, low 400 pounds to barely being able to bench 135,
Mhm.
right? Like Jake sent me a video of him doing tricep extensions, and he showed me like the affected side, just fighting for its life, putting in that work. I was like, oh yeah, like it's moving. And then he goes to the right, and like the cable, like the weight stack on the cable machine, almost like went through the roof. Like it was like, wow, what a difference. And then like, I don't know, I'm a physio student, I'm not an actual physio yet, but I was like, I don't know much about these nerve injuries, dude, but I do know nerves heal very slow. And I don't know what 16 weeks will yield. But at the same time, I know that like the nervous system and tissues do adapt.
Yeah.
And I know that we can probably at the very least like maintain some of this muscle mass that he's grown. And then with whatever we can put together the remaining like neurological drive and get as close as we can. And he came very close in the bench press in particular to, I think, tying his PR, if I remember correctly.
Yes. So yeah, I was handling him because he was in the exact same position I was in.
Yes.
He was nominated 4th. There was 3 big dogs. One pulls out. He gets put in the 3rd. There's a guy right behind him. Fucking exact same thing that was with me. And so I was like, I gotta right my wrong here. Like we gotta make sure this guy gets on podium. And again, and my thought was, we just gotta make lifts.
Mm-hmm.
We're not gonna have the biggest deadlift. We gotta capitalize on our big lift, which is the bench press, and we just gotta make sure we go 3 for 3 on squats because at the end of the day, the total is what's gonna get us on podium. And I can't remember what we squatted exactly. 265 or 267?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It was it a PR? It wasn't a PR. He had 270 before.
Can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm not good with numbers like
Sorry,
that.
Jake. Sorry if you're listening.
This is the way I write the shit down.
Yeah, well, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And then bench press. Fuck, did he go 3 for 3 on bench? I think we missed 175.
I think he missed his third.
Because we did a very small jump.
Yeah, a little chip up to his third, I think.
Yeah, and we missed that, which was, it would have been great to get that, but things happen.
I mean, like, yeah, he
and then considering
he wasn't 100%.
Considering
right?
the training he had to go through, like the circumstances, I thought we were okay.
Did I show you guys his like bench press graph like over time?
No, show us after.
Oh, I'll show you after. I'll show you after we're done recording. It's cool.
Yeah.
You see where he like plummets, and then like the logarithmic, almost linear like increase in strength as like the nerve healed and like the neurological timing all comes back. It was super freaking cool to watch.
Way.
Yeah,
that's sweet.
It's a crazy turnaround. Because that wasn't that long of a time
16
period.
weeks.
Hey?
It's not, especially for an injury like that.
Yeah.
I learned a lot as a coach and like as a future physiotherapist too. I was like, now I have a way better understanding of how if someone comes into my clinic as an athlete and like they have a similar thing, I'm gonna have a way better perspective now, a way more developed perspective, and have a better idea of how to help them over time, right?
Sure.
So, yeah, and then deadlifts for Jake.
Going into deadlifts again, we were trying
to swing it.
We were trying to play the game and try to make attempts and putting in placeholders and all this and that. And there was a guy. Funny thing, the guy who was red lighting Jalen.
Yeah.
Was the guy we were going up against. So I was like, "Fuck this guy! We gotta beat this guy." And no, I joke. He was a good ref, but I don't know what he was looking at. Anyway, so we both, I think we opened up 265, and this guy opened up 270, so we were a little bit behind. And he needed to tie us because we couldn't win on body weight, so we need to be 2.5 kilos more. And we took, I think, a 15-kilo jump to 280. Right? Is that what he did?
I think so.
To 280. Gets it, but it's not great. And his lockout, we both know, we all know, it's not the greatest. Kind of slow. But he gets it. I'm like, cool. And this guy takes a 17-kilo jump to 282.5. And I'm like, well, here it is. He's making he's making moves.
Swinging for it, yep.
He gets it. So I'm like, fuck. So now we're 2.5 kilos behind. So do we make a call to 285? Yes. So I put in 285 to chip him again. And we miss.
Yeah.
So I'm like, shit. And we lost.
But like,
it there.
truthfully, like Jake didn't like leave anything left like on the platform,
we
right?
did what we could, which is fine.
So same thing, like end of the day, like you do the best you can with the hand that you're dealt, whether you're
100%.
sick or you're injured or it's just not your day.
Yeah.
As much as we like to pretend we're in control of all these variables, it's like you really don't know what's gonna show up on meet day, right? So overall. Sunday was nuts.
I was pumped for him. Like again, that was the first time he was ever in that kind of a situation again.
Yeah.
And I think it was good.
Good experience.
Yeah, it was a good experience. I just wish we could have got him on the podium.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Oh well, next time.
Next time, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then other than that, I think
we
it
had
was
Andrew.
just Andrew on 105 on the other platform.
On the other platform, which I felt bad because we were all
gathered around the seven of us,
and
or whatever.
They didn't like if you were on platform 1, you could only warm up on those 6 platforms.
Yeah, they had it all
dedicated to
up.
platform 1, so he couldn't warm up with us.
Yeah, which kind of sucked.
Which was shitty, but
it made sense organizationally.
It made sense organization-wise, yeah. And he had a really good meet. I believe he PR'd his squat and his deadlift, I think, which is really good. Sorry, Andrew, if you're listening, I don't remember what you did, but he did really good.
But we love you.
We love you nonetheless. He was kind of in a pretty stacked weight class again, but
105 is crazy too.
Yeah. So I think he went 9 for 9. No, he missed his opener bench because the ref or the ref weighing him in when he was giving the safeties for the bench press.
Yeah.
They were like, "Oh, it can't be that. That's too low." So they put up like they gave him like 7 when he said 5 or something like that.
Oh, really?
And when he came down to bench, he ended up like pin pressing it.
Oh.
So he was like, "Oh, what the fuck?" So
That's kind of messed up.
yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
should. He should get like another attempt.
Well, this was like an hour and a half later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
That it came up kind of
that
thing?
yeah,
Oh.
like he was weighing in. He said my rack height's 7
Yeah.
or 5.
5.
They were like, no, it can't be that. That's too low. They put in 7, and then 7 ends up being a pin press, and he misses the lift based
Yeah.
off of that. Not off of weight. He fucking still smokes it.
Yeah.
But,
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was kind of he was able to bounce back from that and
Yeah.
go get his other 2.
But yeah, otherwise.
It was
though,
good, yeah. And
was
then
good.
the
Matt
final
competed,
the final session.
which we talked
Matt.
about
Mhm.
already.
Did we get into it?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
no, there was Jade and Sarah as well.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
The 84s.
The 84s.
Couple
There was some
strong
good
ladies.
stuff there.
Yeah. Jade was being coached by Caleb at the time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. But
Mhm.
like,
My boy.
under the Bridge City Barbell umbrella. And her and Sarah.
The sister division. Yeah.
The sister division, that's right. Her and Sarah were in the same weight class. And they had a good battle at provincials. And they were both really similarly like their squats are close.
Yep.
Their benches, Sarah has a little bit better bench, but Jade has a little bit better deadlift, so it kind of evens out that way. And Jade ended up squatting.
177.
Was it 177?
Yeah.
Fuck, that was a big squat.
Damn.
Because Caleb,
That
well,
was a
when,
big jump
when
too,
we were,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, Caleb didn't even tell her what he put in, and
Ooh.
she made it look like nothing.
Do you guys like that? Not knowing?
Uh,
I hate it.
I think when
Tell
I
me
was,
so I can put my head in the right space.
Yeah.
I think when I was like newer, remember you would never tell me,
Yeah.
and I couldn't do like the head math for kilo to pounds. I knew
Yeah.
it was like a weight
You could see the
near.
colors on the bar. And you're like,
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then eventually you start to kind of figure it out, and you're like, yeah, that's pretty much above my PR.
Oh,
right?
fuck, there's a yellow?
So-
Damn.
Yeah, there's a yellow.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, usually I do green, but okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But yeah, no, they both of them. That flight was super sick
Yeah.
Mhm.
to
It was
watch.
awesome.
Some really strong ladies in that flight
Yeah, she's
session.
Jade
Yeah.
squatted 177 and a half. I think Sarah squatted 175, I believe. 'Cause she
Sounds
went 9 for
right.
9, yeah.
Sounds right. Yeah.
And then Sarah benched, I think, 75 or 80, I believe. And then what did Jade bench, do you know?
oh, I don't remember. I think Jade might have missed her third
Yeah.
bench, but
yeah. But then
she had a good day.
she had a big deadlift. So she pulled
202 and a half.
202 and a half.
Yeah, she had to pull.
Damn.
Yeah, she had to pull that for the provincial record.
That's right. And Sarah, I believe, pulled 190 to 200, somewhere in that
Yeah.
range. Yeah. I'm sorry, Sarah, if you're listening, but
I mean, I don't think anyone expected us to have those.
I'm not
memorized,
Rain Man.
but
Okay, I can't just pull these numbers out of thin air.
Yeah. Again, it's posted online. So
Yeah. Phenomenal day. And then Matt. Did you get into Matt? We talked about Matt a
Yeah,
a
little
little
bit.
bit, yeah.
Well, he
At the
squatted
start.
280, which I was
280.
like, questionable. Just kidding.
No, yeah.
But it was good. Oh, he smoked it.
So good to watch.
but his deadlift though.
well, he missed his second bench.
Yep.
He misgrooved at I think it was
Oh,
172 and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were talking after, and he's like, no, I think my just wasn't set up on the bench right. Like, we'll take it again. And yeah, smoked it on the third. Deadlift. Oh, I forget what he hit on his second. He didn't make his third, but
I think it was his third
he
was
opened
325.
with he opened with I think 302.
Bananas. Yeah.
Like it was
Yeah. Big puller.
he's nuts to watch lift. And he's he's not very outwardly hype either. Like he's pretty cool,
very
calm,
intrinsic.
I
collected.
would definitely
yeah.
classify him as a gentle giant.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yep. Great guy.
Awesome.
Love you, Matt.
That is the recap for all the individual lifters. Did we
Yeah.
miss
Yeah.
anybody? I don't think so.
I don't think we did.
I went
Yeah.
through the schedule and we got everybody.
Yeah, and we covered our kind of experiences coaching
Yeah,
and stuff,
man.
which was cool. It was a lot of fun overall.
What was your experience? This is the first big meet coaching? Did you feel overwhelmed?
No, I
No?
actually felt really good about it. And I feel like
Nice.
this was the first meet that I handled at where I kind of learned, and having Dean back there too, but learning how to gauge, say, the timing of warm-ups and,
Yep.
okay, we're this amount of way through the second attempts here.
Yep.
Like, we want to be hitting our last warm-ups here and here and here. And so
Yep.
that was really good. No, it was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah,
You can do it again.
100%.
Is
Line me up.
competing or coaching more stressful?
Ooh, yeah. What's worse?
Oh, I mean, I find handling is maybe a little bit more stressful because I don't know their numbers as well. Like
No,
with
we
myself,
we both agree entirely.
Yeah. Okay.
I know my own numbers pretty well, and it's like, okay, if something goes to shit, like it's all on me.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be in that position for someone else.
Yeah, like if you mess it up, like you have a brain fart and you write down the wrong number, you could actually hurt someone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like
There's that.
I find when I've competed, at least I just like it's go mode and you're kind of in your own zone, in your own state. So it's a different kind of
You have control
feeling
when you're competing. You have so much less control when you're not the one competing.
Yeah.
And you have to run the numbers, right? Because so much of it comes down to you and like what you decide is best for the athlete. And sometimes it conflicts in the moment with what the athlete wants.
Yeah.
But sometimes the athlete can't think rationally, right? And then
exactly.
you have to be the one to make that decision, kind of, I think, ahead of time.
Yeah.
Which is why I think it's super valuable to have a quick conversation before the meet begins when everything's chill about like the kind of coaching the athlete prefers.
Yep.
It was my first time coaching Tennyson in person, for example. And I said the same thing to Bo back when I was running his numbers for the first time. And I said, like, essentially, like, what do you prefer? Like, what do you want me to be? Like, do you want me to be the hype man? Do you want me just to be more level, like the opposite of you, to rein you in, kind of thing? And then I was like, and then we like align ourselves on our goals. What do you want out of the meet? Like, what are the goals? Like qualifying, records, PRs, whatever it is. And then we also I'll talk about now in the circumstance that I guess I'll ask, like, do you want me just to make the call without your input, or do you want to collaborate a little bit on it, kind of thing? And those two both said like collaboration.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, in that case, we have an instance now where our two ideas conflict. What do you think of me making like the final call, or have the final say in that moment, kind of thing? And they were like both good with that, right? And so like you kind of align yourselves like that way, and I think it's a super valuable thing to talk about before the meet begins.
I just pictured your contingency flow chart going through this whole
you
thing.
just saw it. Yeah,
I just
in your
pictured
head.
it all.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah, that's I had
Yeah.
a visual in my head going on at the same time too.
Yeah,
It's
that's good.
it's like if statements in Google Sheets
Dude.
or code.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
If this happens, then do this. If that doesn't happen, then do this.
Yep.
The whole world's built on if statements.
It's true.
Yeah.
You'll find out. You'll find out.
Oh yeah.
Kelsey, there's not a lot of problems you can't solve without an if statement.
That's
There's nothing like a good spreadsheet.
That's true. But yeah, I think that's everything we wanted to cover.
Oh, let me look at the plan here, brother.
I'm pretty sure that's about it.
Well,
Plus,
question for you guys, because you guys had more athletes to handle, but what is it like to? Because I only handled athletes after I was done. What's it like to go, like, try to maintain your own focus on your own performance, knowing that you're going to be coaching and handling for, say, a day, 2 days, 3 days prior? Like, how does that change the game for you guys?
I was pretty worried I was going to take away from my like lifting experience because I was sick. So I already had less capacity
Right.
to like hand out. So I was kind of worried about that. But I knew at the same time that my competition, well, I virtually had no competition. I was simply competing for me and like me alone, right?
Yeah.
So with that being said, it's kind of like, just do what you can. I also love coaching, and like it is very stressful, but also very rewarding.
Yeah.
And you getting to be like an integral part of that moment where the lifter, there's so many, like there's a few photos of me now that have circulated the internet. Of me like squeezing my butt cheeks as hard as I can and like pretending to like extend my hips and lock out a deadlift
Bruh.
as the lifter is locking out his deadlift at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's just because like your mirror neurons get firing and you're just so involved, and even though you're not lifting, you are lifting that weight. You know
I'm
what I mean?
right
That's
there
what it
with
feels
ya.
like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And then they get it, and then they're so excited, and you put in the time coaching them all the way up to it, and then things didn't always go right. There's a lot of like, as coaches, there's so many instances all the time where you're like, I don't know what the fuck to do here. Like this is uncharted territory. I've never been here before, but like, I'm willing to like go for a swim if the athlete's willing to go there too, kind of thing. We can go to the deep water.
Yeah.
We can kind of teach each other, right? And then you enter into that kind of relationship, and when it pays off, oh man, it feels good. It's like, so that's why I do it. That's why I do it.
I find it extremely rewarding to be a part of the process.
Yes.
And having the athlete go through their hardships and then go out and hit their goals.
Yep.
And I don't know, it's just,
and they come off and
they're just fired
they
up.
slam you with a hug or whatever or something, and
it's
because you're just so into it in the moment. It's such an emotional thing. A lot sometimes both the coach and the athlete are tearing up. Like it's special. I don't know. There's like a special amount of vulnerability I think it takes to be a really good coach and an athlete kind of thing. And like I don't know. It's just it's a special experience. So I'm not too. I don't think I would compete without or worry about coaching and competing. You know what I mean? I would never stop myself from coaching someone just because I am competing the next day or something. Yeah. Same day, I think I still got to kind of focus on me, kind of like what you were saying. Yeah. I got to just kind of lock it in a bit on what I got to do. So I think there's a time and a place. Also, if it's a really big competition, I think my tune would change a little bit. You're not often coaching a bunch of people at a large comp.
No, that's right. Yeah.
Like North Americans, for example.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, for example, I was in the back with Danny at North Americans, and I was cutting a fairly substantial amount of weight. And then Danny unfortunately wound up by himself, so he had to load all his plates. But I was not going to help him load a bunch of those plates.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, you had infinite number of kilos to spare on the platform, and I needed every sub-kilo to win.
That's right.
So
that's right. Yeah.
It all worked out in the end, and we still love each other.
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
I'm still strong.
I don't know. Did that answer your
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
answer your question?
Yeah, I would never, like you said, I wouldn't not coach somebody because I'm coach or because I'm lifting.
Yeah.
But the day of, that's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's too much.
And I would hope that the athlete understands. But yeah, I find that maybe I try to say warming up, I don't know how to explain it. It's more mental. It's more mentally draining coaching than it is physically draining, I think.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Now, unless it's somebody like Matt, who's fucking, I got to load up seven.
You load
I got to load up
15
seven
med
fucking
plates.
plates. Yeah, it's
shoulder press it to the bar.
But for I don't want to say the less strong people, but I'm not loading as much, and it's really only squats I find that are hard, or because you gotta fucking
you pick it up essentially off the ground, and then you gotta do a little clean triple extension that plate up so you save energy, and then shoulder press it above your head or whatever.
And then what even ends up happening is for say for Ayana's session, we were warming up with 2 other lifters, and those coaches first time handling. So now I'm also helping them on top of that.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I'm a nice guy. But it's just depending on the situation.
Yeah, it adds to your workload.
Yeah,
and you're gonna help, right?
If this was well, I mean, it is a high level meet, but if it was a higher level meet and we were if those were fellow competitors, maybe I wouldn't have been as nice. Just depends. You know what I mean? It's a sport. We're trying to win. And you know what I mean? I'm not trying to be a dick.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to try and help you beat my athlete.
You're competing.
You know?
You're competing, right?
Yeah.
So,
and it's not my fault you showed up with no experience, you know?
Yeah. It's
so
it's if it's a higher level meet, maybe you should bring in someone with higher level experience or whatever, right? So,
but I find it more mentally draining than anything. And I don't think it affects my lifting, the next day. I was tired at the end of those days, no doubt. But I think it's because I was on my feet walking all day, every day
Yeah.
for all the
Yeah.
sessions.
I intentionally sat down as much as I
Yeah.
could. I was sick though, so like I made it like because I have trouble like making myself sit down and just relax when they're competing. But I would just sit down next to the athlete,
Yeah.
and we would just like
Yeah.
chill.
And
right?
that's the other thing is I almost think it's like not frowned upon, but it's not acceptable
Just sit down.
to sit down
Yeah.
as a coach.
Don't get me wrong though. If there's very little seating,
That's right.
like just enough for the athletes, I won't take a seat.
Don't take a seat,
Yeah.
especially in the like the athlete
the
corral.
corral, yeah.
Mm.
There's seats. Those seats are for the athletes.
Yeah.
But
If there's extra,
if everybody's standing and there's fucking like a row of seats open,
yeah,
I'm gonna sit down.
yeah, absolutely,
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
because it is like they are long days, and
I don't
yeah.
think there's anything wrong with that. But if there's only like a handful of seats and
Yeah.
I'm not going to be
You're-
sitting while an athlete's standing there waiting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No,
Yeah.
I wouldn't do
end of
that.
a meet day, Danny's always like my back, my ankle,
My
like,
neck.
yeah,
Oh no,
happens.
my stink.
yeah.
Hey?
You smell good.
Oh no. Oh, I got that stress.
The
coaching
anabolic
sweat.
the
Mm.
The
anabolic, scent.
anabolic odor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Thomas calls it.
yeah.
Yeah.
No one has ever smelled more anabolic than Danny Hines.
So after coaching all day. Okay. Yeah. That's does
think
that
that-
answer your questions?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty much sums up everything I wanted to cover on this episode. We're already at like about just over 2 hours, so
Woo.
2 hours. Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good place to wrap it up here.
Cool.
Now, folks, if you made it this far, please give this episode a like, share it, follow, subscribe, all that jazz, kind of wherever you listen. Share it to your Instagram if you enjoyed it. Helps us out. And yeah, I think that's everything for the 9th episode of the Aches, Pains,
Wow,
and
almost
Gains
moving up,
man.
podcast. Almost at double digits.
What are we gonna do for that? We gotta make a big one.
Well, I mean, it's only 10, so I mean, it's not the biggest number, but I don't know. It's a
Motherfucker, double digits.
10 months though of podcasting. So
Wow.
yeah,
It's a good milestone.
good milestone. Yeah. Well, I don't know what's up next. We'll have
Who'd
to
have
see.
thought? Who'd have thought we'd be here?
Who'd have thought?
Not me.
Not me. Look at us. Look at us.
That's exactly. Yeah. That's exactly it.
All right, folks. That's it for the Aches, Pains, and Gains podcast. Peace.